Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto leaves Konoha as a child part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. A small boy of 5 was running at the streets of most prosperous village, Konoha. The boy looked away from the stares and glares of the villagers, continuously running, hiding his tears. The boy's name, Uzumaki Naruto, the container of the strongest yokai that ever existed, the Kyubi no Kitsune. Why? Asked the boy while running, as he soon realized that he arrived at a small playground. Wiping away his tears, he sat at a swing and started to sway. He reached for his pocket and grabbed the object that is valuable for him. It was a small locket that only Naruto could open. He opened the locket only to reveal two small pictures of total strangers to him. One was that of a man that resembled a lot like Naruto. The other was that of a beautiful woman. Naruto looked at the pictures. The third said to him that the people in the pictures were the two persons that loved him. Naruto knew that the two were dead. He realized it when the third said the keyword, loved. I wonder if things would have been different if they were still alive, said Naruto, as he gripped the locket harder. Unknown to him, a small girl with white eyes around his age approached him. Excuse me, si, could I take a turn at the swing? Asked the timid girl as pearly white eyes stared at deep cerulean blue ones. Naruto saw the girl and went back to put his mask on, a big foxy grin. Sure, why not? Said the boy as he went down from his swing for the small girl to sit. When the girl sat, she asked Naruto if he could push the swing. The boy nodded with a smile on his face as he started to push the swing. The girl laughed with joy as she said to Naruto, higher. Higher. After an hour of bliss for Naruto, a tall man with long hair and white eyes arrived to pick up the small girl. Tusan, said the girl as she started to run towards her father until Naruto said, wait. I didn't get your name. Hyuga Hinata. What's why yours? Asked the shy Hyuga girl. Uzumaki Naruto, said Naruto as he walked closer and closer to the girl and then said, Hinata-chan, could you hold out your hands? I have something to give to you. The girl held out her hands as she did so and saw that Naruto had placed a locket at her hands and closed her hands with his. Sometimes I'm the forgetful type, Hinata-chan. I plan on going for a while, so that for me not to forget you, I'm giving you my only prized possession, said the boy with another one of his grins. But this is yours, I don't, said Hinata as she was cut off by Naruto. Don't worry about it. I'll get it back from you when I see you again, said Naruto. But when will you come back? Asked the girl, tears forming from her eyes. I don't know exactly, but I will come back, said Naruto, trying to comfort the girl, and added, don't tell anyone about it, okay? Hinata felt reassured of her new friend and gave her a nod as she ran towards her father. Hinata? What we're doing with that boy? Asked the girl's father. Nothing, Tusan, he played with me for a while and left. He's really kind, Tusan, said the girl. Hayashi laughed softly and asked his daughter, you like him, don't you? Hinata blushed deeply and said, I don't know. Hayashi smiled at his daughter as they left. Hayashi said to himself, the poor boy, if only I wasn't restricted I could have adopted him, my best friend's son. I wish could, but the elders forbid me, saying his soul was corrupted and should have been better off without the boy. Tusan? What's the matter? Why are you looking at Naruto-kun like that? Asked Hinata as she saw her father looking back at the boy with regret on his face. Nothing, Hinata, let's go or Ka-san will be angry, said Hayashi. Hi, said Hinata as they approached the Hyuga mansion. Naruto's apartment. 7 in the evening. Naruto was quietly packing his things as he remembered his decision. I'm leaving Konoha to be stronger. The people here are just trying to destroy me slowly, but I have some people to turn to, Iruka-sensei and Hinata-chan, the only people that see me as me, said Naruto as he packed his belongings. The essentials, food, clothing, water, and a kunai set he recently bought. The next thing Naruto did was go to the Hokage tower to try and copy any technique that would help him survive. He arrived at the tower with a pen and a couple of scrolls. Naruto learned how to read and write because the third had taught him how to read and write at an early age. Naruto learned quickly for his age, and slowly but surely he made his way to the Jutsu library. He rummaged to the scrolls and found a giant scroll and the scroll of the fourth. Naruto knew the fourth was legendary but didn't exactly know what he looked like. So he grabbed the small scroll, put it in his bag, and opened the large scroll. He read the scroll, Forbidden Scroll. He examined the first thing he read, Kage Bunshin. Naruto wrote down the pointers and explanations about the technique and opened another part of the scroll. Kage Bunshin Tai no Bakuhatsu. Naruto then noted the skill down again, and he realized that he was running out of time. He closed the large scroll and went out of the Hokage Tower to go to the north gate of Konoha. He studied very carefully the guard shifts of the gate and found that every 2 hours, the shift would change for 5 minutes. Naruto knew that he only had 5 minutes to vanish from their sights. He knew somewhere to where a small hole is near the north gate itself. Naruto saw his chance and immediately ran after the hole. He ran as fast as he could and as quiet as he could. After running for 30 minutes, he looked back at Konoha and said, "I'll come back, much stronger than before. Then, and only then will all of you acknowledge me." He turned around alone all by himself, and walked north towards Wind Country, starting the chapter of his greatest adventure ever. Naruto had walked for more than 5 hours. It was 1 o'clock in the morning, and he hasn't slept. For a little boy to walk this far with no sleep, it was impossible, but since he's no ordinary child, he could still walk for an hour or so. After a couple of steps, Naruto sat down at a small clearing for a little rest. "I think I had managed to walk through half of the territory of Fire Country. I think I need to find a place to stay if ever I encounter some of the guards the old man sent to retrieve me," said Naruto as he got up to find a small burrow to sleep for the night. He had managed to find one and went in. When he got in, he never expected to find little wolf pups sleeping in the den. The mother and father wolves slowly crawled into the den, as they smell a different scent in the burrow. They growled and prepared themselves if ever they encounter a predator for their pups. They crawled into the den and saw a small boy feeding their pups with small pieces of meat. Naruto saw them and gave them a piece of meat. The wolves accepted his offer and went over to lick his hand. The wolves had rested after their successful hunt. Naruto also slept in. The next morning, Naruto woke up only to see one of the wolves giving him a small scroll. "What is this?" asked Naruto and went to check his bag. All his scrolls were still there, only this scroll was a new one. "You're giving me this scroll?" asked Naruto as one of the pups gave a confirming bow. Naruto gave a small smile, patted the wolf's head and said, "Thanks." Naruto stood up and started to walk again. He looked back at the wolves' den and waved at them. The wolves wagged their tails and howled as they said their goodbyes to Naruto. Naruto continued his walk through the woods. Soon he had reached the border of Konoha Forest and arrived at a desert. A sand shinobi, with squinted eyes like Naruto, saw the boy and talked to him. "Who are you?" asked the man as kneeled down at Naruto's level. "Uzumaki Naruto," said the boy. "You shouldn't be going anywhere your age. Where are your parents?" asked the man. "I have no parents, but could you teach me how to be a shinobi just to survive? Please, I need it. I need to survive here," said the boy, pleading at the sand shinobi, and bowed his head. The sand shinobi scratched his head and said, "All right, but just the basics. Hand seals, chakra control, Henj no Jutsu, Kawarimi, and Bunshin. How's that?" Naruto nodded his head enthusiastically and said, "Sensei, just teach me chakra control, about the hand seals, Henj and Kawarimi. It'll be shorter." "Alright, since my mission is almost over, I'll be taking you to Sunagakure," said the shinobi. "Nah, I didn't get your name," said Naruto. "It's Kikuchiyo," said the sand shinobi as they walked towards Suna. "Yorishkin, it's nice to meet you, Kikuchiyo-sensei," said Naruto as they finally reached the fortress of Suna. Konoha Hokage Tower. "I haven't seen a hair of Naruto all day. Where is the child?" asked the third as he was still examining his crystal ball. Naruto was not in the village, the third had presumed. "Send an ANBU to go look at young Uzumaki," said the third as Genma disappeared in a blur. 10 minutes later. "Taihenda, bad news, Hokage-sama," said the ANBU, bowing down. "What is it?" asked the third. "Young Naruto is missing, Hokage-sama," said the ANBU in a dog mask. "This is terrible news, Kakashi. I have just heard a grave news from Jiraiya, one of my students, and it concerns Naruto," said the third as he stood from his desk and looked outside his window. "Why is it, Hokage-sama?" asked Kakashi. "A news that has been bothering me for some time. It seems a certain organization has the possibility to capture Naruto," said the third as he looked at Kakashi seriously. Kakashi stood there and said to the third in a calm voice, "Any details about the organization, Hokage-sama?" "No, but he said that the organization's name is Akatsuki. The problems are its members. The members of the organization are composed of the most sly criminals in the bingo book," said the third. "Are there any active movements as of yet?" asked Kakashi. "No, the organization is only doing monitoring missions of villages," said the third. "Then we should let the other villages know about this," said Kakashi. "No, Kakashi, Akatsuki is maybe just composed of 9 members. but these people would kill anyone who tells the truth about the organization," said the third. "Then what do you propose we should do? By right now, Naruto would have gone either halfway of our territory, or he already has made it into the border himself. Also, we don't know where Naruto has gone," said Kakashi. "Right now, we can't do anything anymore, Kakashi. Let's just hope that Naruto will be safe from the organization," said the third and added, "Oh, and Kakashi, gather all the clan heads of every ninja clan in Konoha. They will be saddened by the news." Kakashi just nodded and bowed. "Sensei, I have failed you as a student." With that, Kakashi had left the tower to gather all the clan heads just like the third said. Suna. "Alright, we do basics, starting with hand seals and chakra manipulation," said Kikuchio as he taught Naruto how to do those hand seals. At first, Naruto found it hard because he forgets what comes after what. After a hard day's work, Naruto started to scan the village to where he could stay. He had found in that charge is small but is enough for Naruto since the third had just recently gave him a large allowance. He started to write down what he had learned on a blank scroll and started doing his hand seal speeds. Naruto spent 5 days to fully do the hand seals and was time for chakra manipulation and chakra control. Naruto learned it was hard to do chakra control when he was asked to climb a wall without his hands. It took Naruto another month to fully control his chakra on the wall so that he could maintain his footing. The other chakra control exercise wasn't taught to Naruto except he was forced to write down the exercise and practice it in another place where there is a lot of water. Naruto knew that in Suna, water is very precious. That is why he asked Kikuchio where does a place usually have a lot of water. Kikuchio explained to him that Water Country was the most abundant place where water is usually. Kikuchio was impressed at the boy's growth in a short while and the way he does things so fast. Kikuchio taught Naruto how to climb up a wall without using his hands and was then taught how to do simple henge and kawarimi. It had taken Naruto 5 months to finish his training with Kikuchio. When the time came, he had to leave Suna and go east. Before he did so, he had bumped into a red-haired boy with black circles surrounding his eyes. "Sorry there, I just need to hurry, and hey, why are you alone by yourself? Where are your playmates?" asked Naruto as he walked closer to the red-headed boy. The red-headed boy gripped his teddy bear tightly as a stranger his age was speaking to him. "I don't have a playmate because I am hated by them," said the red-headed boy wiping his tears from his eyes. "Why is that?" asked the puzzled Naruto. "It's because I carry a monster within me. I carry the bloodthirsty incarnate of sand, Suna no Shikaku," said the red-headed boy. "Well, believe it or not, we're the same. I also have a monster sealed inside me, the Kyubi no Kitsune," said Naruto and then added, "Say, why don't you come with me? I'm going somewhere so that I can be strong. I don't exactly know where I'm going, but you should come along. I bet we could make great friends," said Naruto to the red-headed boy and added, "Name's Uzumaki Naruto. Yours?" "Sabaka no Gaara," said the red-headed boy as slowly smiled at the blonde-haired boy. "Gaara, go pack your things, we're heading up east. Meet me at the east gate of the fortress, and we'll be going. Oh, and one more thing, I overheard that there will be an assassination attempt on you this night, so hurry," said Naruto as he dashed towards the east. Gaara wasted no time as he arrived at his uncle's house and packed his things. Like Naruto, he packed his essentials except for a kunai set. He didn't need a kunai. He sneaked out through his uncle's window and went towards the east gate. He didn't care about his uncle anymore. He dashed towards the east gate, and the two immediately ran towards east. Wind Country Port. The two had reached the seaport in just an hour's walk. There, they sneaked into a ship that will take them to Water Country. During their stay at the ship, Naruto decided that it was time to read one of the advanced techniques he had copied from the Forbidden Scroll of Seals. He opened the first scroll and read Kage Bunshin. Naruto read the instructions and used his recently found knowledge at a small place where people don't usually gather. He had done what the instructions said. He put up his hands in a middle index cross fashion and said Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Soon, 5 Narutos stood at the smoke. Naruto slapped his hand at the back of one of the clones and felt something. "Cool. These guys are real. That's better than the Bunshin crap," said Naruto grinning. After his test at the Kage Bunshin, Naruto decided that it was time to sleep. He walked to Gaara and said, "Hey Gaara, we should sleep now, you know. We might need the energy tomorrow," said the young boy. But if I do that, Shikaku's gonna eat my personality," said Gaara. "Oops, sorry Gaara. Hey, I know. Maybe we can find someone to fix up your seal. It should really help," said Naruto, and the two kept on talking until Naruto grew tired at last. "Sorry Gaara, I need to sleep now. I'm feeling tired," said Naruto as he fell down asleep. Gaara just stared at the night sky and gave a heavy sigh. The next day, the two had arrived in Kiri that morning to take a good look around if anyone could fix the seal on Gaara. Almost everyone in the village denied their request because they thought they were still children and didn't know what they were doing. They had stopped at the village outskirts only to see a small child curled up near the bridge. The two walked over to the child and asked, "Hey, are you okay?" "Huh? Who are you?" asked the girl to the two boys. "I'm Uzumaki Naruto," said the blonde-haired boy. "I'm Sabaku no Gaara," said the red-headed boy. "Hello, my name's Haku," said the long black-haired girl. "Nice to meet you, Haku. So why are you here?" asked Naruto. "I lived alone for more than 2 years now because of my bloodline," said Haku as she looked down again and looked at her shoulder. "It's also because of this. A seal that was placed upon my shoulder when I was a baby," said Haku. "Let me guess, you have a demon sealed inside of you too, right?" asked Gaara. "How did you know?" asked Haku. Naruto answered, "Let's just say you have the same eyes as ours. A longing for a reason to exist. Why don't you come with us? We are traveling to become strong. Anyway, what's the demon sealed inside you?" asked Gaara. "A Mizuryu, water dragon, and I'd love to come with you," said Haku as she smiled at the two boys. "Great. So where is your house?" asked Naruto. "It's just near here. Come on, we have to go," said Haku. As soon as they reached Haku's home, Haku began to go look for a bag like Naruto and Gaara's. She found one and began to pack her clothing, some food, some money, and a scroll that her mother had secretly hidden. Once she was done, they exited out of the house and began walking southwestward to another port to go to Tea Country. This time the trio paid for their fare and went inside the ship. There, the trio decided to train. It was fortunate that the ship had a small practice area. So the three practiced their skills. Naruto taught them how to use and save chakra and the usage of hand seals. Naruto was surprised to see Haku perform one-handed hand seals. He was also surprised to see Haku create water out of nothing and see Gaara being protected by his sand. Then Naruto remembered they were supposed to find someone who could contain Gaara's demon and that he was supposed to practice his other chakra control exercise. So the next day, the trio had left the port and immediately went towards west, to a territory that wasn't conquered by any ninja village. They had reached that territory for 2 days. There they began wandering around, finally seeing a lake, and near the lake was a monastery. The three went to the monastery to ask if they could stay. They had talked to the one that was at the door and pleaded to the head priest of the monastery. "Please, head priest. We have no place to stay and we are searching for someone to heal our friend," said Naruto, bowing down to the head priest. The head priest gave a passionate smile and nodded. He then asked, "Which one of your friends need the treatment?" "It's him, head priest. His father sealed a demon inside my friend with an incomplete seal. The three of us have demons sealed inside us, but the seal on our friend was incomplete, meaning that he is being forced by the demon to do his bidding," said Naruto, bowing down again. The head priest nodded and said, "Very well, I sense great kindness and strength from the three of you, therefore it is only right to lift some of the weight that you carry within you. Also we will train you on how to fully control the sealed demons so that its influence will never bother you again." "Thank you, head priest," said Naruto, bowing down again. "There is no need to call me head priest. Call me Komio-sensei instead. Now bring me the 7 sutras," said the head priest to the monk. The monk immediately obeyed and grabbed the 7 scrolls of the monastery. "Tell me, children, what are your names?" asked Komio. "I am Uzumaki Naruto from the leaf," said Naruto. "I am Haku of the mist," said Haku as she stood up. "I am Sabaku no Gaara from the sand," said Gaara as he stood up himself. "Thank you, Naruto-kun, Haku-chan, and Gaara-kun. Please be ready for something I am about to do," said Komio as the sutras and was given to him. Komio arranged the sutras around the 3 children and started chanting. As soon as the chant began, the sutras began encircling the 3 children, and in a great flash of light, the 3 fell down unconscious. "The ceremony is a success. These 3 will be our only hope if ever my visions come true," said Komio as he checked the 3 children. He ordered the monks to put them to their sleeping quarters. Komio looked up to the night sky and said, Tomorrow is the day of your most rigorous training, my children." Komio decided to sleep that night after the successful ritual of taming the demons inside the 3 children. That night, he had an ominous dream. Dream POV. Komio stood before a dark cave. He saw 2 giant pairs of carved hands made of stone with claw-like nails. In each finger, there stood 1 human. Komio slowly walked closer at giant pair of hands. He saw a man with long black hair and golden slitted eyes, while he saw the remaining 9 wore straw hats and long kimonos with red clouds as design. He couldn't see the persons inside those cloaks, so he ignored that and continued walking up front. After a couple of minutes' walk, he noticed a large creature with 9 eyes and a large mouth. It seemed as though the creature was left imprisoned by the stones of the cave. Just then he started to walk towards the creature. It opened its eyes, then a great flash of light. Komio awoke, sweat dripping from his forehead. He realized it was already morning. Time to wake up the kids. He entered the room where the kids had slept. He first woke up Naruto, then Haku, and finally Gaara. Gaara had slept quietly last night for some reason. Gaara-kun, ever wondered why you fell asleep last night? Asked Komio as Gaara nodded his head. Look at the seal your father placed at you, said Komio as Gaara took the instructions. He looked at his navel and discovered that the seal was altered. I altered the seal within you, and I also tamed your demons. Meaning they are now a part of you, but only when you ask or say so to those demons, Komio said. Right now, you 3 would be thought on many different styles of combat. But we have to let you decide on what style you want to undertake, said Komio as he said this. The 3 immediately listened carefully to what they have to do. There are many different styles choosing from: Aikido, Tai Chi, Jiu-Jitsu, Simple Karate, 5 form arts, and the Mishima-ryu. That is our most recent style, said Komio. Then Komio-sensei, what style do you suggest that is best for us? Asked Naruto while looking at his sensei. Well, according to your type of nature, I suggest Gaara take Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu lessons because he is the defensive type of person. For Naruto, I suggest to you just Simple Karate and the Mishima-ryu because you will need the extra raw power. As for Haku, she will most likely excel in accuracy and fancy footwork, so I recommend Tai Chi and the 5 form arts, said Komio. The trio answered, we accept your suggestion, sensei. We need something we're good at. Komio smiled at the 3 and said, okay, training commences now. We need you 3 to be strong. The 3 nodded, and as they left their sleeping quarters, they talked on how exciting this training was for them. The 3 would have to be separated for their lessons on their own style of arts. They given a break of about 10 minutes every now and then until late in the afternoon. Naruto's training involved endurance, stamina, strength, and concentration. Gaara's training involved mental alertness, concentration, and strategic attacks. While Haku's training involved good eyesight, speed training, and mental alertness. Naruto's training. Hello Naruto-san, I am your teacher for karate and Mishima-ryu. I'll be your instructor for this training, so please sit, and we'll commence training, said the man and added, by the way, my name's Shuichi. Naruto nodded as the man disappeared from his view for a while, and Naruto wondered what type of training his sensei would be teaching him. The monk entered with a stick at his hands and said, Naruto-san, I know this may hurt, but this is for endurance training. We need you to endure pain as best as you could, for your nerves be numb to any pain that will come at you. Pain distracts you at what you do, so we need you to fully ignore pain and somehow numb its effects on your body. Understand? Naruto gave a nod and said, I'll do my best. I won't let pain stop me. Shuichi understood and started to hit his student with the stick hard. Gaara's training. Gaara was wondering what kind of training would he get in mental alertness. Just as he was thinking, a monk appeared before him with multiple coconut shells. 1 at each kneecap, 2 at his upper chest, 2 at the back, 1 at each ankle, and 1 at each hand he was holding. What are those? Asked Gaara. Your training regimen, of course. Here, wear one, said the monk as he handed Gaara the coconut shells. Gaara took and wore the training suit and said, okay, what's next? Watch, said the monk as he did multiple strikes at his coconut shell suit. Gaara had a hard time trying to do what he does. After that, the monk said, there's a pattern you have to do to get this right. You're gonna have to be alert. Gaara then studied the pattern and practiced. He made a lot of mistakes. Haku's training. Haku waited for her sensei as she sat at a small clearing until her instructor came into view. The monk said, stand up please. We commence training right now. Haku stood and asked, what kind of training will it be? The monk said to her, this type of training involves good eyesight. I will be throwing something at you and you must go catch it, alright? Okay, said Haku as the monk placed himself at a good distance from Haku. The monk started to throw something. Haku tried to catch it only to end tripping and falling into a small pond. Naruto's next training schedule was to run around the lake near the monastery as much as he can until he wears out. Right before halfway, Naruto already collapsed from exhaustion. Gaara's involved concentrating on controlling his sand that protected him. That didn't work well as the sand was still left untamed. Gaara ended up with sand in his mouth. Haku's next training involved sprinting from point A to point B as fast as she could. The only problem was, there were a lot of rocks and Haku continuously tripped her way towards point B. Finally was their last training regimen for the day. Naruto's last exercise involved punching a log 3 meters thick. He was asked to make just a crack at the wood since he was still a beginner. He ended up with a wounded knuckle and a splitting headache. Over at Gaara's was just a simple game of shogi. Only this simple game meant if you lose a flick at the wrist was needed to pay the debt. Gaara ended up with red wrists that day. Finally was Haku's. Her final training exercise was the same as Gaara's first exercise, the coconut clapping. She had the same headaches as Gaara and Naruto's. Later that day, everyone ended up either bruised, cold, or having an excruciating headache. The three of them were tired and hurt from their training, and they thought that dinner would be less important today. So the three of them decided that it was a good idea to just go to bed. Sleeping quarters. Naruto had plopped down on his own bed and then asked his two friends what had happened earlier on. After their small conversation, Naruto asked them, "Since when did you guys knew you had demons sealed inside you?" "Ever since I can remember." "What about you?" asked Gaara to Haku. "Same here, but only my mother told me about it. She said that our family held the demon for years, but when the civil war broke down in Kiri, the demon was forced to be sealed within me." "Yours?" asked Haku, looking at Naruto. "I recently heard it from a stupid drunk back at home." After his enlightening speech, the adult villagers seemed to side to the idiot and they forced me to run away, said Naruto. "That's sad. I guess that's the fate of the vessels of demons. Give them your all and they throw back crap," said Gaara. "I know, the fox was sealed inside me even without my consent. Those morons should have thanked me for holding back the stupid fox," said Naruto, turning to his side of the bed. "Anyway, I think we need rest for that training tomorrow. My head still hurts, and I need some sleep if ever we start that again tomorrow," said Gaara, rubbing his head. "Well, good night, you two," said Haku, falling asleep. Every day was the same training for the three. It had taken a lot from them, and they grew strong. Sometimes they were forced to do chores like gathering from the lake with a stick for their shoulders to support 2 pails while wearing weights, or cutting firewood with weights. Sometimes there were simple chores like fishing for food while still wearing weights, and in just 1 year, their bodies could now benefit the needed work. Soon the training they took was simple for them and they focused their styles for 2 years. During those years, the three would have a little sparring match either if there is no training for the day or after training when the training for them is light. Those fights always ended with a draw. One night, the three had their own dream of their own demons. Naruto's dream POV. Naruto was walking within the sewers. Water was flowing everywhere, and saw a large gate. Inside the gate, the demon fox, the Kyuubi no Kitsune, opened his eyes at the young child in front of him. The demon fox had awoken and spoke to Naruto. "What a weak vessel you are! Just by looking at your scrawny little putrid face. And that fool managed to defeat me. I tell you, he got me distracted for just a second, and the next thing I knew I'm in this dump," said the Kyuubi in a roaring voice. "Yo, stupid fox! I am not weak. And by the way, it's time for you to pay some rent. You've been living here in this dump for 8 years, it's time pay chakra, damn fox. I never expected a child could be so daring to one such as me. Therefore, it is only fitting that you inherit my powers. But since you're human, that type of power changes adapting to your body. I'll be explaining once we start your journey again," said the Kyuubi. Gaara's dream POV. A/N. I don't know much about Gaara and Haku's mind, but I'll have to substitute. Gaara's dream POV. Gaara stood in the middle of an oasis in the middle of a desert. He saw Shikaku being held by multiple chain shackles at his paws, feet, and torso and bound to a large rock. Shikaku gazed at Gaara with its golden eyes and said, "That seal altered to how I control. Normally the seal would project me being bound to vines and trees. These chain shackles and this boulder prevent me now. I can't control you anymore. I'm bound to you forever. Therefore the only thing I can do now is to pass on my power to you. Since when you die I also die, I can't take the risk of you only relying on the Suna no Tate and the Suna no Yoroi. It'll be our death. So you'll be the sole heir to my power. Tailed beasts vary their power and characteristics. For example, I'm the most versatile because of my sand protecting me automatically. I'll explain once you continue your journey with the Kyuubi brat." "When will that be?" asked Gaara. "I don't know. Go ask the Kyuubi brat," said Shikaku. Haku's dream POV. Haku sat beside a peaceful lake. The peaceful lake turned into chaos when a giant whirlpool appeared in the middle of the lake. Thunder clapped as dark clouds stood ominously in the middle of the lake. Suddenly, she heard a huge roar and saw that in the middle of the whirlpool a blue dragon with 4 tails flew out and saw Haku. "Child, with the ritual of what that monk has done to the three of us, we can do nothing anymore but for you to inherit our powers. We are now bound together. For when you die, I die as well. That monk's ritual allowed your bodies to adapt to our powers that unleashes a power that is even beyond of a kage," said the Mizuria. "So that was what Komio-sensei said about taming the demons within us," said Haku. "Unfortunate as it is, we are left with no other choice. I will explain everything when the journey starts again. But for now, we will be leaving you three with weapons that only we could supply to you," said the Mizuria. Normal POV. Morning had come. With the chirping of birds and the crow of a rooster, the three children awoke. Naruto woke first only to find a katana with its metallic design sheath. Another weapon was that of a white handle that was strapped to its strange leather strap. Naruto wondered to wherever they came from. First though he had to take a shower and then talk to Komio for them to leave the temple and for them to continue their journey 3 days from now. After Naruto had woken up, Haku had awoken. She saw a wooden but strong hilt that had no blade. There were 2 to be exact. She then placed it on her bag to study it later. The last one to awake was Gaara. He stretched and yawned and found something at his bedside, a folding zanbatsu, spear-sword crossover used by ancient samurai if they don't want the standard katana. Gaara looked curiously at it, and then placed it at his bag to take a good look at it later. Breakfast. Naruto and the 3 went in to find the rest of the monks starting to prepare for the morning. The 3 helped the monks and had some simple talk. After the preparations for breakfast is ready, Komio walked in. The monks and the children started to eat. After breakfast, Naruto decided to tell Komio if they could leave now or in 2 or 3 days. "Komio-sensei, we wish to continue our journey for strength and kindly ask if we are now allowed to leave. Is the training you gave us enough? Or are we ready?" asked Naruto. Komio turned back and answered him. "Naruto, it is your decision to leave. But I understand of why you had to leave. I knew this day would come and I don't regret in teaching the 3 of you. The training that you received are for you to use. I have given all of you enough training already. The 3 of you are more than ready to continue your journey. It is all in the matter of your own bravery, determination and wit," said Komio looking outside the window seeing the lake. Naruto felt happy and said, "Thank you, sensei." "But wait, Naruto-kun, I am asking you to go to the northeast of here. There you will find a man that will teach you about what we do not know, and that is swordplay. I want you to change your hairstyle because people might recognize you instantly. The people of that border do not wish to see someone who resembles their enemy. That is the only thing I wish from you. The country you will be next staying will be the Earth Country. Near at the path of the border where you're going is the place where you will find the man who will teach you," said Komio as he looked at Naruto. Komio took him to the showers and after that, he arranged Naruto's hair. He made Naruto's hair fall down. He was no longer the spiky hair type now that the wild hair has been tamed. After their conversation, Naruto decided to go to his friends and tell them the news. The 3 were happy that they would be on the move again. The 3 immediately packed their belongings and cleaned their soon-to-be former sleeping quarters. After they cleaned their room, they decided that now was the time to go to the place that Komio meant. The 3 of them took off by jumping to trees. By now, the 3 of them are now good at taijutsu and some ninjutsu, meaning they were now your elite genin team. They jumped from branch to branch until it was dark. The 3 of them decided to spend the night there, and then the demons spoke to them again. Naruto's. "Kit, remember that sword and the strange object that you saw by your bed this morning?" asked the Kyuubi. "You mean that? Why?" asked Naruto to the fox. "That is one of the gifts I am giving you, these 2 weapons. They open by gripping them and saying, Furin Kai, unseal, so that you could pull them out of those safety seals," said the Kyuubi. "Cool. When do I learn how to use this?" asked Naruto. "That's why we're heading northeast, aren't we? The man who that monk guy said might be true, so we're going there," said the Kyuubi. Naruto only nodded and tried to do what the furball said. He gripped the sword's hilt and the strange handle's hilt and said, "Fuin Kai, unseal." The strong grip on the weapons loosened as he pulled the blade. The one on his left glowed an ominous red. Even his blade was dyed red. The weird one on his right turned to be a chakra-siphoning sword. The sword consumes the right amount of chakra and maintains it, thus forming a blade that can cut through almost anything. Naruto's jaw dropped as he saw the elegant blades at his hand. "Gaara's. Yao kid, get that long blade from your bag," said the Shikaku. "Are you gonna teach me how to use it?" asked Gaara. "No, I'm just teaching you how to activate it. Suna Zanbatsu is a 2-in-1 weapon. You could use it like a chain and sickle and just like a normal Zanbatsu," said the Shikaku. Gaara did as he was told and grabbed the long blade from his bag, and Shikaku began to speak again. Great now. Try raising it up and the sand would begin to maintain it in a straight line and use your chakra to fully attach it. You do know how to mold chakra, right? Said Shikaku, and Gaara did as he was told. Of course I know, Naruto taught me since he was tutored on ninja basics, said Gaara. When he raised up the Zanbatsu, sand began maintaining it in a straight line and Gaara used his chakra. The Zanbatsu attached itself to every separated part. Cool, said Gaara. Haku's. Remember those hilts I gave to you? Get them and I'll show you how you can use them. I'll be also passing a gift to you that allows you to create water out of nothing, said the Mizuria as Haku opened her bag and grabbed the 2 wooden hilts. Good, use your chakra to create water by focusing chakra at your hand and imagine how water flows, said the Mizuria, and Haku obeyed. When Haku opened her eyes, water was floating like a ball at her hands. Now put the first hilt near the water and see what happens, said the Mizuria. Haku did so and the first hilt began siphoning the water and the hilt began forming a blade. The weapon became a short sword. Just as the first hilt was finished, the second hilt immediately reacted by itself and approached the water at Haku's hand fast. The hilt went through and out came another short sword. Haku was awe-stricken by the elegant short blades. The 3 children were stuck within their own worlds until. Awesome! This weapon rocks, said Naruto as he gazed at his weapons. He then thought of putting them back now. He slid the red sword at its sheath and the grip on the weapons tightened again. He slid his other weapon and the leather strap bound the weapon again. Gaara thought on how to let his weapon turn back to being the compact one. He tried to stretch the middle of the weapon and was right. The weapon folded again at his hands. Haku's was easy. The water just desolidified because of her bloodline. She placed the hilts at her backpack. Soon the 3 slept for the next day. Next day. Gaara, Haku, I think we need to buy new clothes. We're growing up, we need a change once in a while. I think we might be able to buy clothes with the money we have left, said Naruto as he grabbed his frog purse while the 3 were walking at the main road. The 2 at his back started to agree. The 3 of them were wearing clothes of a monk in training, so they thought it'd be best to buy new clothes. While the 3 were walking, they happened to notice an old man passing by and Haku asked him, "Excuse us, sir, but where is the nearest village and are there any shop there that sells clothes?" The old man smiled at the children and said, "The nearest village is only 2 kilometers away. You guys could make it there by mid-noon, and yes, there is a store there that sells clothes, specifically ninja clothes," said the old man. "Thank you very much," said Haku, bowing down. "You're welcome," said the old man as the 3 continued walking. By mid-noon the trio reached the village. The village was large, and then they began asking for directions again. They found the department store that sells shinobi wear, and the 3 decided to look in. After 2 hours of looking at the clothes store, Naruto had picked his clothing. A black jacket with a red color at the upper 1/4 of the jacket. The red dye on the shoulders formed a triangular mark that reached his lower arm. He left his jacket unzipped. A black shirt and a black sleeveless shirt, a pair of dark green cargo pants that reached his lower leg, a pair of fingerless gloves, and some bandages at his lower legs. He also bought a pair of black sandals. Naruto then placed the red sword at his back and strapped it vertically. The other one was strapped at his waist loosely. Naruto looked perfect with the hair he just received from their sensei, Komio. Gaara had picked his style, a dark red Chinese long-sleeve cloak. Underneath it was a black sleeveless shirt like Naruto's, a pair of dark red pants and a white sash. He then had an idea to make a gourd out of sand and placed it at Gaara's back. He then placed Suna's Zanbatsu inside the gourd. A/N, genius any? Finally was Haku's. She wore a short white kimono that was held by a green sash, think like Tsunade's, a dark long sleeve underneath it, cycling shorts underneath the kimono, and a new pair of sandals. She then bought a holster, and placed the 2 hilts at her holster. The holster was then placed at her belt. She then bought a pair of giant needle-like ornament for her hair and tied it with the ornament. I don't know what that is, so I'm clueless. The 3 looked like they were now ready for combat. Hey guys, how do we know that the village is the right village? Asked Gaara. Sensei said that the village we're going is near the border of Earth Country. He said that we have to go northeast in this main road to get there. Just straight there would be a village near its border, and then the man will teach us about our styles of swordplay, said Naruto, looking directly at the road leading northeast. Yeah, but how do we know that we are nearing Earth Country? Asked Haku. Hang on, I'll go ask one of those travelers, said Gaara. 5 minutes later Gaara came back and said to them, they said that we'll notice the change in landscape when we see lots of mountains and a village near it. That must be the village we'll be going then. Great. Now that's settled, let's go, said Naruto as they set off northeast. The trio had just heard their target for this journey. Reached the village near the border of Earth Country. Since then, it had been 2 days since their departure on the village they happened to cross upon. The landscape was slowly changing from grassy plains to rocky mountain ranges. The village they were looking for was now slowly appearing to view. They soon arrived at the village and began looking for the person who they were supposed to meet. After looking around, they still couldn't find the man they were supposed to meet until. You. Yes, you with the sword at the back, said a man with tan skin and white hair. Me? Asked Naruto. Of course. Let's make a bet. Why don't you try to throw a kunai over my head? If you win, I die and you'll have all of my possessions, but if I win, you will have to pay me 300 right, said the man, drawing a bull's eye on his forehead just above his nose, and smiled. But if I do that, you said Naruto, but was interrupted by the man. Nonsense. I'm a former warrior who served during the Great War. I may not be a shinobi, but I'm a samurai nonetheless, said the man, and added, or are just you scared? That did it. Naruto lost it and said there's no chance in hell that I'd be scared. Then aim the kunai here, said the man as he pointed to the bull's eye. You asked for it, said Naruto, throwing the kunai with all his might at the man. The kunai traveled at high speeds, but the man didn't even flinch. At the last second, the man had caught it by its handle. Oh? Good aim, my lad. Are you a shinobi? Asked the man. No. At least not yet. I'm looking for someone to train the 3 of us about swordplay. Do you know someone? Asked Naruto. As a matter of fact, I do. Care to go with me? Asked the man. Sure. I bet you were the one Komio-sensei said we'd been looking for, said Naruto to the man. Komio? Oh, that monk that we met during the war. Anyway, my name is Gorabi. Yours? Said the dark man, looking at the 3 kids. Uzumaki Naruto, said Naruto, giving Gorabi a V sign. Haka, said the girl. Gaara, said the other boy with the gourd on his back. Well, you 3, let's go to the place I was talking about, said Gorabi. The 3 arrived at the place Gorabi was talking about. The place looked simple yet elegant, fit for a dojo. They went inside and saw a man in white loose garments. The other one was in blue garments and was at the adolescent age. They saw Gorabi with 3 children and asked him, Gorabi, why did you bring children here? Are they here for you to show around? Asked the man in white. No, Kenbei, they're here to be trained by the way of the sword, said Gorabi, scratching his head. Oh? What are your names, children? Asked the man in white, supporting his chin. Uzumaki Naruto, said Naruto, looking at the man. I am Haku, said the girl, bowing to the man. Sabaku no Gaara, said the red-headed boy. Very well. What type of swordplay you wish to master? Asked Kanbei. I want to master the way on how to use 2 katanas at once, said. Then you are looking for Kyuzodano. He is the master at using 2 katanas in battle, said the boy in blue. I want to master how to use a zanbatsu, said Gaara. Shichijiro would be your guide, said the boy in blue again. I want to master how to use 2 short swords, said Haku. Oh? You're lucky, Haku. I will be your teacher there, said Gorabi, patting Haku's back. Great. So when do we start? Asked the ever-impulsive Naruto. Training starts tomorrow. By then, those 2 would arrive tonight, said Kanbei. So Kanbei-sensei, where will we stay for the night? Asked Naruto. Here is fine by us. You are maybe students, but you are still guests, said Kanbei. Thank you, Kanbei-sensei, said Naruto, bowing down. Kind as always, Kanbei-san, said the boy in blue. Quiet, Katsushiro. I noticed that you 3 carry the type of weapons you want to train. Care to tell me the names of your weapons? Asked Kanbei as he looked upon Naruto's sword and Haku's short sword. Then he looked at Gaara's gourd where he thought where his zanbatsu is. I haven't thought of a name for it yet. Hey, I know. Kitsunbai no Kawaku. Enchantment of the Foxtail, said Naruto. Such a weird name for a sword, but why? Asked Katsushiro. I don't know, I just felt like naming it like that, said Naruto, grabbing the 2 weapons and stared at it. I already have a name on mine, Suna Zanbatsu, said Gaara, extracting the long blade from his gourd. Mine should be Mugen, swear you know my, said Haku. Good names. Those who care for their sword are those who respects its own honor, said Kanbei. Very well, tomorrow, the training begins. Please observe proper behavior, you three, said Katsushiro. The three nodded and went to their rooms. Of course, Gorabai had to assist them. The next day, the three had woken up early that morning and decided to look around the dojo. They found it was a bit big considering the fact that one of them was just a traveling performer. After they had looked around, Kanbei had approached them and said, Naruto, your training with Kyuzo is at the practice hall. Gaara, Shichijiro will be with you at the yard, and Haku, you and Gorabai will be practicing to the second practice hall. The three gave an affirmative nod and went to their separate ways. Naruto had arrived at the hall to see a red-cloaked man resting beside a wall. The man saw Naruto and said, You must be Naruto. I am Kyuzo, the one who will teach you how to master the double katana swordplay. You can refer to me as Kyuzo-sensei or Kyuzo-shirsho, said the man. Naruto said, Kyuzo-sensei, what will be the first lesson? Asked Naruto. First lesson is, as always, concentration, said Kyuzo. Naruto gave a depressing sigh. It was the monastery all over again. Gaara had seen a blonde-haired man with a giant stick at his side. Gaara thought this is Shichijiro, the man who was assigned to train him. Gaara decided to approach the man and said, Ano, Shichijiro-sensei, are you gonna start the training now? Hello, Gaara, right. Sure, so our first lesson for today is mental alertness, said Shichijiro as Gaara paled right then and there. Talk about nostalgia. Haku had been with Gorabai the whole time and their training was soon commencing. Then Gorabai spoke. Good, our first lesson for today is good eyesight, said Gorabai as he grabbed two small twigs. Haku shivered at what she had seen. Crap, we're back to basics again, thought Haku as she saw Gorabai starting his lesson. And so, their training continued again. The trio was once again assigned to do chores at the compound like cleaning the floors and sweeping. The trio had gotten used to the chores. Their basic training was easier now since they underwent through it the first time. Since then, the three were taught on refined swordsmanship for their styles. They spent a good 2 years refining and honing their swordsmanship skills. After those 2 years, they decided to finish it off and off to the road again. This time, they were focusing on ninja techniques. Also, the three demons started to react again. This time they talked again about something what they were all the same. They were being taught with demonic ninjutsu. Those techniques large ranges and cause major radius damage. Naruto. Oh brat, it's time you receive your next gift. This time, you'll be given access to use Hanyu mode. There are 2 levels of Hanyu mode and each mode supplies for 1 demonic ninjutsu. I never used ninjutsu because I never needed it. So in reality, every demon has only 2 demonic ninjutsus, said the QB. So that means I can only use them when I turn into a Hanyu? Is the effect permanent? Asked Naruto to the demon inside of him. Yes, and the effect is only temporary. You can dispel it whenever you wish to, said the QB. Great, said Naruto. One more thing, I'm giving you the eye that can create and cancel genjutsu and the ability to see through your opponent. You may never know when you'll need it, said the QB. So what are the jutsus? Asked Naruto. I'll tell and teach you when you're ready. Right now, focus on your jutsu library. Experiment with jutsus, kid. As I recall, you have the scroll of that fool who sealed me. Check that out, maybe he has some jutsus that will help you, said the QB. Oh, that's right. The scroll of the 4th. I forgot that I still had that, said Naruto, rummaging through his bag and got what he was searching for. He saw the scroll had some sort of seal and looked at it for a bit. What the hell is this? Asked Naruto, scratching his head, and QB butted in. It's a blood-type seal. Only someone who is a descendant, or the same blood of the Yondaime can open it, said the QB. So Naruto did what was required to do. He didn't know that the seal would react with Naruto's blood, and the seal began to disperse. Naruto began reading the scroll and saw that there was only 2 jutsus. Rasengan was at the top and had its explanations and the way to do it. The attack involved a lot of concentration, power, and control. The second one was Shunshin no Jutsu, the hijutsu that he often used. The jutsu can't be copied by anyone. So Naruto began testing Shunshin no Jutsu and the Rasengan. Gaara. Yao Gaara, time to let your san know when to attack, said the Shikaku as he looked at Gaara. Sure, what kinds of attack anyway? Asked Gaara. Why, sand attacks, of course. And maybe some jutsus like Suna Shuriken and Futon, Mugen Sajin Daitopa, Wind Element, Infinite Gust Storm. Really? All right about those sand attacks? Asked Gaara. Only the basic Sabaka Q, desert coffin, and Sabaka So-So, desert funeral, said the Shikaku. Are there any others? Asked Gaara. Yeah, but you're gonna have to activate Hanyu mode and some require a lot of chakra, said the Shikaku. Hanyu mode? Asked Gaara again. It's the temporary fusion of demon and human. In any case, you're still in control, said the Shikaku. All right, said Gaara as Shikaku started to train the young lad. Haku. Since you are now learning the final step, ninja techniques, it's about time you learned to activate Hanyu mode, said the Mizuriya. Why? Asked Haku as she looked at the Mizuriya. For you to use our demonic ninjutsu, you need to be a Hanyu. So I'm teaching you how to, said the Mizuriya. Oh well, please get on with it, said Haku. I will as soon as you learn some techniques from your clan. Like the Hijitsu, Sensatsu Suisho, Flying Water Needles, and Makyu Hyashu, Demonic Ice Mirrors. You can find these techniques in the scroll your mother left, said the Mizuriya, and Haku immediately grabbed the scroll from her bag and went to train as fast as she could. After a year of training with the demons, the three mastered their techniques except for Naruto's Rasengan. He had a problem with the final step. He thought that maybe someone would help him in the final step, so they set off again. This time, they are now entering Fire Country's borders and made their way to Tanzaka City. Hey guys, look! This place is full of gambling houses. Are we even allowed to enter the city? Asked Naruto. He then heard someone calling him and saw an old lady telling him to come to the stand. Naruto did so and the old lady said, "Fortune slips are fun and entertaining for the whole family. Try one and it will bring great luck." Keiiching. Wow! Naruto, I never knew you had such luck within you, said Gaara looking at Naruto's frog purse. I never knew I was that lucky, said Naruto holding up his frog purse. Naruto smiled innocently as he held his frog purse. You're cuter when you're fat, Gama-chan, said Naruto cuddling his frog purse. Haku giggled at the comment as she looked at Naruto. She then had an idea. Naruto, Gaara, let's go to the hot spring today. Naruto's treat, said Haku. What? Why me? Asked Naruto surprised. Hey, you won the money, it's natural for you to treat us, said Gaara. I guess so, ba. Let's just go, said Naruto as the three had reached the local outdoor hot springs in the area. Naruto and Gaara took their side and went for a dip at the natural jacuzzi. As they sat, they noticed a man giggling like a schoolgirl as he was peeking in the other side. Gaara had blown a fuse and was almost gonna kill the man if not for Naruto. Naruto held Gaara and whispered something in his ear. Gaara nodded and let Naruto take his action. Gaara closed his eyes as Naruto slowly approached the pervert. Naruto tapped the pervert's shoulder, and the pervert turned around. Naruto did a fast hinge and transformed into a beautiful woman that had large breasts and sexy stature, and she was naked. The pervert turned around and leered at the woman, his nose starting to trickle blood, and the girl screamed, "Ah! Hentai! Hentai! Hentai!" The girls at the other side had heard the scream and immediately ran out of the pool. No! My inspiration! No! Said the pervert. Naruto changed back to normal and said, "You deserve it, you pervert." The long white-haired man turned up and saw a young blonde-haired blue-eyed blonde boy. The man gasped at what he saw. "Why, you're Uzumaki Naruto," said the pervert as he pointed to Naruto. "Hey! How do you know me?" asked Naruto as he looked at the pervert. "You idiot! Don't you know who I am?" asked the pervert. "No, aside from being a pervert, that is," said Naruto. The old man gave a sigh and said, "I am one of the legendary Sannin, the divine Jiraiya." "Densetsu no?" "Sannin?" said Naruto and Gaara in utter disbelief. "Naruto, what's a Sannin?" asked Gaara. "Beats me, must be a member of those people who have ugly vices," said Naruto. "Idiot!" said Jiraiya, hitting Naruto's head, and continued, "I'm a member of the Sannin who were the students of the third Hokage," said Jiraiya. "Then why did you hit me? And how was I supposed to know the old man taught you?" said Naruto, screaming. "Anyway, nice technique. You mind doing a couple of poses for me?" asked Jiraiya, blushing and giggling like a schoolgirl again. "Yes, I mind. Damn it. I just got here after training and I need some relaxed time, then you show up trying to ignore that," said Naruto. "Training, eh? So what are your current jutsus then?" asked Jiraiya. Current jutsus, oh yeah. Kage Bunshin Tai no Bakahatsu, Shunshin no Jutsu, and an unfinished Rasengan, said Naruto, hiding his demonic techniques. So you were the one who stole the scroll of the Yondaime. Be glad that the scroll was really meant to you, said Jiraiya, hiding the fact of amazement for the boy. Hey, I needed it to survive, you know. Oh, since the old man taught you, I'll let you get away this time if you promise you teach us a new jutsu, said Naruto. Jiraiya just gave a hard sigh and said, fine, I'll teach you, and as an added bonus for me not to get busted for good, I'll help you with the Rasengan. Meet me here tomorrow morning at 8, and I'll teach you Kuchiyos no Jutsu. Naruto jumped for joy as he had a chance to learn something new. Next day, Naruto and his companions were at the bathhouses that morning, and it was almost at 8, and Jiraiya appeared in a cloud of smoke and said, Okay, you three, time for you to learn to summon. But first, let's see the animals you are compatible with. Naruto was compatible with the toads and the wolves. First, though, he needed someone who has the contract to toads and wolves. Jiraiya had given him the contract to the toads. All that he needs is the contract to the wolves. Then he remembered the scroll the wolves had given him 5 years ago. So he grabbed it and signed both contracts. Gaara had just seen what his compatible summons were. A lizard and a hawk were his summons for the contract. However, he needed a contract for the summons. So he decided to tell Jiraiya if he knew people who have the contracts with these animals. Jiraiya said that he knew people that were his contacts, and would send them tomorrow, and would arrive by the end of the week. Haku also had the same trouble with Gaara, so Jiraiya also helped her. She had noted that her summons were that of a lynx and a rabbit. Jiraiya gave a nod at the two and taught them the seals to do the Kuchiyos no Jutsu. Alright, to do the summoning technique, you have to project in your mind on what to summon. So the outcome would have to be on what you think and how much chakra would have to be released. The seals of the Kuchiyos no Jutsu are Ayu, boar, Inu, dog, Tori, bird, Saru, monkey, Hetsuji, sheep. Okay, you three, try it, said Jiraiya. The three nodded and began to do the hand seals. They did it in no less than 5 seconds. After that, the three agreed to stay with the hermit within a couple of months so that they could develop their skills for summoning. As they went out, a beautiful woman came by their way. The woman heard a perverted giggle by the inside of the pool, frowned and said, I know that chuckle. Tsunade-sama, let's not cause trouble here any? Said the woman who walked behind her with a pet pig by her arms, trying to calm down the blonde woman known as Tsunade. Poi, said the pig, agreeing with the woman. Shizen, if there's one thing I can't stand, it's him and his hobbies, said the woman, apparently Tsunade, going inside. Tsunade-sama, said the attendant. Don't worry, Shizen, just step aside for a while and watch, said Tsunade. Shizen just sighed and went beside the three children. A minute later, the four outside could hear the pleads and screams of anguish from Jiraiya. After that, they saw Jiraiya burst from the wall and had his head stuck in a wooden fence. Ouch, said Jiraiya as he tried to get his head out of the fence. Wow! Did you see that? Ero-sennin had his ass hooped by that woman, said Naruto, pointing at Tsunade, who was dusting herself off. Ero-sennin? Do you know him? Asked Tsunade, looking at the three. The three nodded at the same time and looked at Jiraiya. Well, he won't be bothering anyone when I'm around here, said Tsunade. Jiraiya had gotten his head out of the fence and pointed to Naruto and screamed, You babbled, didn't you? What are you accusing me for, Ero-sennin? That lady there just heard your perverted laugh and went after you inside, said Naruto, pointing at Tsunade. That's right. I heard your laugh, you moron, said Tsunade. Jiraiya grumbled and rubbed his cheek, thinking how that monstrous strength ever existed. Later that night, the three were with the pervert and Tsunade's group to eat dinner. They were happily enjoying themselves, and Jiraiya thought of something devious. He motioned over to Naruto, who was staring at Tsunade's chest with a raised eyebrow, thinking if they were real or not. Jiraiya slowly approached Naruto and gave him a small needle and whispered something in his ear. Naruto, being the gullible fellow he is, walked over to Tsunade and pricked her chest with a needle. By now, Jiraiya was trying to control his laughter. Tsunade yelled and grabbed Naruto by the collar and said, What do you think you're doing, kid? Ero-sennin said that your boobs aren't real and that I should prick them, so that everyone would find out, said Naruto with his eyes in an innocent fox mode. Jiraiya, said Tsunade, clenching her fist, and said, Shizen, take the kids outside for a while. Shizen just obeyed and grabbed the three children outside the restaurant. They could hear Jiraiya say, No, Tsunade, not there. No! After that they could hear a high-pitched squeal. Gaara and Naruto flinched for a while, and Naruto said to Gaara, His soldier must have been hit. Gaara nodded, and they heard Jiraiya say in a high-pitched voice, Waiter, a big bag of ice please, and hurry. The four went back inside and Tsunade asked them, "What were you doing with the pervert anyway? I doubt he'd take a genin team now." "We asked him if he could teach us Kuchio's no jutsu and he agreed. So now, we are his temporary students," said Gaara. "Why temporary?" asked Tsunade. "Tsunade-sama, well, you see, we are in a journey for strength, and however we can, we gain knowledge of multiple techniques," said Haku. "So that's why you wanted to learn from the pervert." Tsunade gave a thought for a moment and said to the three, "Why not learn some medic nin techniques from me? I'm sure it would help." The three nodded and Gaara said, "Okay, but for us to learn well from you, we need another month since we are still learning Kuchio's no jutsu." "Okay, it's agreed. Kuchio's no jutsu requires a month's training and I am giving you a month," said Tsunade as her group had fled for an inn. During the month's training, Gaara and Haku had received their summoning contracts and began their training. Naruto was first able to summon a small frog. Thinking he could do better in a wolf summon, he did that. He was only able to summon a small wolf pup. Gaara and Haku also had the same problem with their summons. Gaara summoned only a small hatchling for a hawk and a tiny lizard the size of his finger was for his second. Haku was able to summon a small lynx cub for the first and a bunny for the second. The three sighed. Their first day of finally being able to summon was a failure. So they tried to listen to Jiraiya's advice for 2 weeks and told them that they should release chakra like they were about to die. So the three decided to take a try outside the city and Naruto summoned first. "Kuchio's no jutsu," said Naruto, screaming like he was about to be murdered. Jiraiya said in a loud voice, "No, you idiot. Too much chakra." But it was too late. After the smoke cleared, they saw Naruto sitting on top of a large frog with a dagger by his side. He looked at Jiraiya and said, "Jiraiya? Why did you summon me?" "Oh, Bunta, it's not me who summoned you, but the kid on your head." The frog laughed and said, "Good one, Jiraiya, as if a kid like him can summon me, Lord of the Frogs. That's insanely absurd." With this, the frog laughed even harder. But now, Naruto had enough. "Listen here, you ugly toad, I summoned you, not Erosenin." "Not him, me," said Naruto. "Humph, kid, you are not yet worthy to be my subordinate yet." "Hell, you're still underage," said the giant frog boss. "What? I'm supposed to be your subordinate. What am I gonna do to make me your subordinate, huh? Do I have to ride your back till sundown?" asked Naruto. "Kid, you just gave me a great idea. I'll let you ride on me till sundown. If you win, you'll officially be my subordinate. If not, well, tough luck because you won't be my subordinate by then for 10 more years," said the toad. "Alright, I accept your challenge," said Naruto. Sunset. No matter what Gamabunta do, Naruto still stayed on top of the frog's head. By now, sunset had begun and Naruto was tired. Gamabunta gave a gasp for air and set the boy down to Jiraiya. Jiraiya looked at him and said, "He's just like your former pupil Jiraiya, stubborn. I officially take him as my subordinate now. I'll inform his other boss Summon-Shiro Shurkan, White Fang, about his progress. See you?" With that, the frog boss disappeared in a puff of smoke. "Ne Jiraiya-sensei, will Naruto be alright?" asked Gaara, looking at Naruto, who was unconscious. "He'll be fine, he just needs a little rest," said Jiraiya, and the four left. The next day was for Haku and Gaara to do their summons. Their summons turned friendlier than the frog boss was. Haku's rabbit boss was Usagi Taisho and her lynx boss was Yamakuhi, Mountain Queen. Gaara's lizard boss was Eki Antai and his hawk summon boss was Kaze Tsukai, Wind Bearer. During their month's training, the three children still felt dissatisfied with their results. They went to further study and develop their summoning techniques. By the end of the month, the three had learned to summon different summons for different circumstances. After their month's training, they transferred with Tsunade. During the next 6 months, the three learned multiple healing techniques excluding Ninpo, Suzo Seze, Ninja Art, Divine Restoration. Out of the three, Haku enjoyed most of Tsunade's training. After their medic training, the three decided to say goodbye and head off to another direction. They were almost complete in every aspect they could have thought. Until Jiraiya gave them a book and a scroll telling him to give it to the third Hokage when they go to Konoha, A/N, not Ika Ika Paradise. It was a book about ninjas' rules and standing grounds and a letter to the third Hokage. Jiraiya also mentioned in their last moment about the last step in the Rasengan, and Jiraiya gave him a couple of balloons. Naruto understood the last step and the three set of east. Arriving at a village that was at the middle of a crater, the three decided to stay there, and there they started to do their own training. Naruto took a week in learning the Rasengan and after that, the three learned the setting grounds in their book. It had taken them 2 months to learn all the setting grounds of being a ninja. After that, they had time to kill for a month, so they decided to train for a while to perfect their techniques. Soon it had reached a month, and the three had heard of the Chunin exam taking place in Konoha. They arrived at Konoha no sooner than 4 hours. After they arrived, Naruto decided to visit the third Hokage. The two only nodded and went to see the Hokage. Hokage Tower. Naruto and his friends arrived at the tower. Looking around, they saw the receptionist, and they walked to ask something. "Excuse me, but could we see the Hokage now? It is of utmost importance," said Naruto. "I'm sorry, but the Hokage is having a meeting with the Jounins now, he can't be bothered," said the receptionist. "I'm sorry, but can we wait here? We have a message from Jiraiya-sama, and he said to deliver it to him personally," said Gaara. "Jiraiya-sama? Very well, I think the meeting is about to be over anyway," said the receptionist, looking at the door that opened revealing Jounins that had a meeting. The Jounins noticed the three children and took note of them, thinking they were taking the Chunin exam. Kakashi took a small glance at the blonde-haired boy and said something to himself. He looks very familiar. The trio walked inside the office, seeing the Hokage clearing paperwork. The Hokage noticed the three and asked them kindly, "Hello, what is it do you want from me?" "Hokage-sama, Jiraiya-sama has given this message to you. Please read it," said the girl. "And may I ask who are you three and where did you come from?" asked the Hokage. "Oi, old man. Don't you remember me? It's me, Uzumaki Naruto," said Naruto. "Naruto? Is that you? It's been 7 years since your disappearance. People here simply don't know you left. It's like you never existed in the first place," said the third, looking at Naruto with a hint of happiness from his voice. "Figures," said Naruto, unfazed. "Are you here to be a ninja?" asked the third. "Of course. But I don't know if we should register ourselves. But we'll take the Chunin exam. I hear it's only 3 days from now, right?" asked Naruto. "Okay, but after the exam, you should be able to decide, okay?" said the third, hoping that Naruto and his companions become ninjas for the hidden leaf. "Who are your friends, Naruto?" asked the third, taking a glance at a red-haired boy and a black-haired girl. "I am Gaara from Suna," said Gaara. The third took note of Gaara as the son of the current Kazekage, who also mysteriously vanished from their sight. "I am Haku from Kiri," said the girl. The third nodded his head as he realized that she must be the last of her blood to able to control water. The third gave a hearty smile to the three and said, "You are permitted to join the Chunin exam, you three. Naruto, I have something to give you." The third pulled out a small container and said, "Here, it is the key to your house in the north of here." Naruto gave a confused look and said, "But I thought my house was over that way." Naruto then pointed to his right. The third smiled again and said, "This is the key your father left you. Since you've been missing for 7 years and came back alive and well, I decided to give to you the key to your father's house and property." "Really? So that means that the three of us can fit in a single house?" asked Naruto. "Yes, it is more than enough, as you will see," said the third. After that, the three of them left the office to go north of the tower. Once they arrived there, Naruto was stunned to see a large mansion. The three went inside only to see the house still clean and the furniture fully furnished. The mansion had a large private training ground, 24 rooms with a bathroom for each room, a large dining hall, a fairly huge entertainment and recreation room, and a huge dojo at the back of the mansion. Naruto, Haku, and Gaara gasped and went to look for their own rooms. After selecting their rooms and placing their things there, it was time for the three to take a small walk around the village. During their walk, they managed to see a scene involving a small kid, 2 Konoha genin and 2 Suna genin. The kid had bumped into a Suna genin that had face paint on his face. "That hurt you, runt," said the Suna genin as he held the kid by the collar. A Konoha genin with light silver hair, tan skin, violet-brown eyes that wore a net long-sleeve shirt, a silver t-shirt, and white long shorts, started to yell at the face-painted shinobi. "Listen, you! Let go of that kid or else," said the silver-haired boy. "Oh? What are you gonna do?" asked the face-paint Suna shinobi. "I'm gonna kick your ass," said the boy, charging at the face-painted boy. The face-painted boy smirked and raised his finger. The silver-haired boy tripped and fell down. "Kankura, let's go before you stir trouble. We didn't come here to start a war, you know," said a Suna kunoichi with a huge fan on her back. "But this kid deliberately bumped into me," said Kankuru, still holding the kid, until someone threw a stone at his head from up a tree. Kankuru looked up to see a raven-haired boy holding another stone. By this time, Naruto, Gaara, and Haku decided to intervene by doing teleportation techniques. Haku with a swirl of wind, Gaara with his sand, and Naruto with his shunshin. The three had locked in the Suna shinobi by appearing close to him, Naruto grabbing his hand, Haku pointing a senbon on his neck and Gaara standing at his back aiming two fingers at the back of Kankuru's head. Naruto said, "Let the child go, or we'll kill you." Temari couldn't tell the person in front of her because of the gourd on the boy's back. Kankuro retreated and went with the Suna kunoichi. He didn't took a glance at his side. "Let's go, Temari, our teammate is waiting for us," said Kankuro as he and Temari took off. The three decided to leave until a certain raven-haired boy decided to ask, "You three, what are your names?" "Tell us your name first," said the red-headed boy. "Uchiha Sasuke," said the raven-haired boy. "I am Uzumaki Naruto, the girl on my left is Haku and the one on my right is Gaara," said Naruto as they decided to leave. Sasuke stared at the three in front of him as they disappeared from view. He then felt the excitement of the Chunin exam. Third day, day of the Chunin exam. Naruto and his teammates entered the building where the Chunin exam will take place first. They arrived to see a boy with a bowl-cut hair and wearing green spandex begging two Chunins to enter the room. The two Chunins declined and one of them pushed the green spandex boy and he fell. Naruto and his teammates knew it was genjutsu, so they decided to slip past the two Chunins unnoticed. But as they were about to make tracks, Sasuke and his teammates showed up revealing to the participants that it was only genjutsu. Sasuke then led his teammate, a pink-haired kunoichi that Sasuke called Sakura, to explain that they were in the second floor, not the third. Naruto and his teammates sighed because that Uchiha kid showed off again. So they decided to leave the scene. Upon arriving at the exam room, the three noticed glares were directing to them. So they stayed on an isolated spot for a while. Soon after, the rookie genins of Konoha showed up. The rookies were being noisy, so a silver-haired man known as Kabuto told them to be quiet. "You don't want to piss off those from Rain. They tend to have the shortest temper. Among all villages, Konoha sends most of the genins for the Chunin exam and the least is from Oto. Oto is still a new village, so it's a bit insignificant," said Kabuto grabbing a deck of cards. "What are those?" asked a blonde kunoichi looking at Kabuto's deck of cards. These are Nin info cards. These cards tell how strong a person is. Want to know about some persons taking the exam?" asked Kabuto, and Sasuke immediately replied. "Rock Lee, Uzumaki Naruto, Gaara and Haku." Kabuto nodded his head and took out some of the cards from his hand. It revealed something. Kabuto looked at the card and said, "According to this data, Rock Lee is a Konoha genin from last year. Nothing is known about him except his taijutsu dramatically heightened from last year." Kabuto then took out 3 cards and looked Uzumaki Naruto. No data about him, no specific qualities and no mission records. The only thing said here is that he ran away from Konoha at the age of only 5 years old. The same goes for Gaara and Haku. At this, Sasuke was even more excited. There are a lot of monsters in this Chunin exam. Just then, he saw 3 Oto Nin attacking Kabuto. The mummy tried to punch Kabuto, but Kabuto evaded to the side. After Kabuto evaded, his glasses broke and he coughed up blood. Just then, a man who had his forehead protector tied like a bandana entered the room and said, "Quiet, you maggots. You. Fighting is not allowed until in the later part of the exam. Until then, whoever decides to fight now are disqualified along with their teammates. Got that?" The 3 Oto Nin nodded and went back to take a seat. Then took out a ream of papers. "I'm Marino Ibiki and I'm your first examiner. The first exam is a written test. We will give you a limit of 2 hours. For every correct answer, the person receives 1 point. For every wrong answer, we will deduct 1 point from your score. But if you are caught cheating, we will deduct 2 points until you reach 0. Once you reach 0, automatically you and your teammates are disqualified. Let's just hope that you don't let your honor be destroyed. Another thing is, 20 minutes before the exam ends, I will give you the 10th question," said the scarred man as he took the papers from his hand. Naruto and his teammates nodded, as they knew the true purpose of the written test. They knew that it involved cheating. So the 3 picked a number and Naruto ended up with a certain purple-haired, white-eyed kunoichi. "And Naruto-kun?" asked by none other than Hyuga Hinata. "Huh? Hinata-chan?" asked Naruto as he looked at his right. "Why, you remember me? It's been so long since we first met," said the shy Hyuga heiress. "Yeah, good luck in the exam," said Naruto as his paper was passed. "The exam has officially started." Within that hour, Naruto, Gaara and Haku started to do their work. Naruto activated his Dijutsu he recently called Jugen, Evil Eye, and started to write. Haku used 2 ice mirrors, one from the top and one at her side. Gaara used the recently taught technique to him by the Shikaku, the third eye, and started. After 30 minutes of cheating, Naruto decided to fall asleep. This exam had him bored for some time and decided for a little rest. 1 hour later. Naruto was startled and someone was waking him up. He opened his eyes seeing Hinata there trying to wake him up. Naruto-kun, please wake up, Ibiki-san is about to give the 10th question, said Hinata as Naruto slowly stood up and looked at Ibiki. Alright, before I ask the 10th question, allow me to explain to you the rules of desperation. Those who want to take the 10th question would have to answer. If you got it wrong, then you can't take the Chunin exam anymore. So to those who want to quit now, raise your hand as there will be a next time, said Ibiki looking at the students. A genin raised his hands and his team automatically failed, and soon another did. Only 26 teams remained and Ibiki asked them one final time, are you sure you want to take the 10th question? Naruto still stood there unfazed as well as his teammates. They had a confident atmosphere that calmed down the remaining teams. Ibiki stood there with a grin on his face and said, congratulations. You all pass. Ibiki then said his speech about being a Chunin. After that, a crash at the window was heard. There are 78 students that are still here. Ibiki, you must be losing your touch, said the woman who crashed from the window. There are a lot of talented ones this year, said Ibiki as he exited the scene. Hello, I'm Mitarashi Anko, and I am your examiner for the second test. Follow me to the next testing ground, said Anko as she led the team to the Forest of Death. Outside the Forest of Death. This is the second venue of the second test, the Forest of Death, said Anko as she grabbed a set of papers. First off, I need you to sign this paper so that when you die, I won't be responsible for your deaths, said Anko as she scratched her head and continued, the objective of this test is to capture an exact opposite of your scroll. For example, if you receive the Heaven Scroll, you must go look for the Earth Scroll and vice versa, then go to the tower at the middle. You are given a time limit of 72 hours to pass this test. Remember that you are not allowed to open the scroll outside the tower. If you do, something terrible will happen. Naruto's team. After signing the papers that Anko wanted to sign them, they received a Heaven Scroll and proceeded towards their designated gate. How long will it take for us to finish this test? Asked Haku. An hour or less or so. I accidentally heard the team from our right has the Earth Scroll, said Naruto. Well, that's good fortune for us. It will only take us a couple of minutes to make a mad dash towards the tower, said Gaara. After a few minutes of waiting, Anko gave the signal that starts the second test. Naruto's team made a mad dash towards inside. Naruto and his teammates dashed inside the Forest of Death. Naruto then started a conversation. Gaara, Haku, have you sensed an eerie chakra signature back there? Asked Naruto. Both of his teammates nodded. Naruto then said that chakra signature was that beyond a genin level would have. I think it may involve something big. Let's forget about that for now and focus on our main priority. So what should we do? We use the hit and run tactic or the raid tactic? Asked Haku. I think we need to focus more on the let the team be on guard tactic because it may involve this, said Naruto as he punched a large tree, making 3 genins fall out of their place. Naruto's punch had split the tree in half. How did you know we were hiding out there? Asked a leaf genin. Naruto walked towards them and said, it's not that we knew you were hiding there, it's just that I just saw you with these eyes. Naruto then pointed to his red-slitted eyes and said to the 3, how fortunate of us to encounter the team that we targeted so early. Give us your Earth Scroll and we'll let you live. The 3 leaf genins were prepared to take action until they were stopped by Gaara's sand. This is your final chance to give up the scroll. If you don't give it now, we will kill you, said Gaara as he was now applying pressure to the binding sand. Okay. We give up. Here you can have this scroll, said the genin as they handed to Naruto the Earth Scroll. Thanks you 3, it looks like this test is easier than we thought it would be, said Haku as the 3 disappeared from the view of the 3 genins. The 3 genins just looked there unsure of what to feel until one of them said, the killing intent that those 3 were giving, it was as huge as that of a demon. Fortunately for us, we still live, said one of them. Naruto's team. Naruto and his team were now jumping from branch to branch until a group of AIM Nins came to intercept them. It looks like we have ourselves a little team. I think we should play with them for a while, said one of the AIM Nins as he grabbed his umbrellas and threw them into the air. After that, he put up his hands in a hand seal and said, Ninpo, Saban no aim, rain of Saban. The umbrellas in the air then spun and began releasing multiple needles heading towards Naruto's team. The first to react was Gaara and put his hands in a hand seal and said, Suna no Shihiki, barrier of sand. Sand then began forming around Naruto's team, blocking all Saban needles. Haku then raised her hand and began forming her set of hand seals. After she finished, she said, Hijitsu, Sensatsu Suisho. Secret technique, flying water needles. Water that came out of nowhere then began to form sharp needles and charged at the aim nins. The aim nins countered with their technique until it was time for Naruto's turn to attack. Naruto grabbed his swords and said, Fuin Kai. After that, the swords were released from the sheath. Naruto then spun his second weapon, the chakra siphoning sword, in a 180-degree fashion and bit his thumb. He slid his blood onto the flat part of his sword on the left, and put the blades in a X-like position above his head. He then said, Kuchios, Shurianita, summoning, hunting pack. After what Naruto said, he slid his second weapon on the flat part of his first weapon where he slid his blood. After sliding the weapon, 5 wolves appeared in a puff of smoke. The 5 wolves then attacked the 3 aim nins. The 3 aim nins tried to kill the wolves, but the wolves evaded every Saban the 3 threw. One of the wolves then bit the aim nin on the left, on his left hand, rendering his use of jutsus useless. Then another wolf bit the other hand, and then one wolf bit the aim nin's neck, killing him. After killing the first aim nin, the 2 remaining wolves went for the other by doing their jutsus. Ninpo Yabantosatsu, ninja art, night slaughter, said the 2 remaining wolves as their fur became black and engulfing the 2 remaining aim nins. After that, the trio heard a loud scream inside the darkness the 2 wolves created. After they heard the screams, the 5 wolves disappeared in a puff of smoke. Well, that's it, I guess. I think we're home free now, look, said Naruto as he pointed that they were getting closer to the tower. Since it's still early, I doubt we would find ninjas around the tower, said Haku as she grabbed a heaven scroll, gave it to Naruto, and went towards the tower without even getting hurt. Chunin examiners. Hey you guys! Look here! A Genin team just arrived in just 50 minutes after the exam just started, said one of the Chunins, and added, they don't even have a single scratch on their bodies. What? It's impossible even for Chunins not to have a single scratch on their bodies in the Forest of Death. There is no doubt about it, these guys are above Chunin level, said one of them as Naruto had looked into one of the cameras. Naruto's team. The 3 were taking a rest until Naruto and his teammates felt a familiar chakra signature. Gaara, Haku, there it is again. That chakra signature, did you feel it? Asked Naruto again. Gaara answered, yeah, that chakra signature came from the east of here. I even heard multiple explosions before that chakra signature. Should we check it out? Asked Haku. No, not until we find out where that chakra signature is exactly. We need to know where it stops. I can't help the feeling that this exam is playing a big part to something much bigger. We go there tomorrow, said Naruto as the 3 went back on relaxing. Next day. Team 8 had arrived early that day after their short trip. Unlike Naruto's team, they had scratches all over their body. Kiba kept talking out loud until he heard a voice say, "Shut up! We're trying to take a rest here." Kiba became depressed as he heard that someone had came in earlier. He then noticed the first team to arrive was that mysterious team that Kabuto had given them. Just then, one of them woke up. It was a red-headed boy, and he woke up his teammates. The blonde-haired boy just grunted and said, "When someone wakes you up, you just can't sleep anymore." The final one to wake up was a black-haired girl. Kiba felt like hitting himself at the face as he saw the girl. Then the blonde-haired boy spoke up, "Let's go, you two, we need to find out where that chakra came from. It looks like it stopped." "Naruto, should we even go? I mean, we just finished the second part of the test," said the girl. "Don't worry about it, we'll just check something out. It's a weird feeling that I've been having. It feels like scales are wrapping around me for some reason. Let's check it out now. We'll come back at exactly an hour, got that?" asked Naruto as the 3 vanished from Team 8's sight. Team 7. Sakura was keeping watch for the 2 members of Team 7 since that snake freak, Orochimaru, knocked them out. She had watched the 2 boys for a whole day now. She then remembered that Sasuke and Hiroshi had defended her while fighting Orochimaru. Then, a squirrel came trying to come closer to Sakura. Sakura then launched a kunai in front of the squirrel, scaring the creature away. After what seemed to be an hour, 3 Otonins came and then tried to attack, but the mummy-faced Otonin stopped them. "What's the matter, Dosu?" asked the other male as he tried to study what Dosu was going to say. "Zaku, look, isn't it a bit suspicious? A large part of dirt and grass in the middle where normally it shouldn't grow. We could have fallen into her trap," said Dosu as he detected the trap setting off a large boulder that fell in front of them. A trap becomes useless when it's detected by the opponent. said Dosu as he again approached Team 7. Sakura had a smirk on her face as she cut another cable, sending a giant log towards the three. The three evaded and Dosu destroyed the log. No more traps, huh, little girl? Asked Zaku as he approached Sakura again. Before Zaku could approach Sakura, he was kicked by none other than Rock Lee. I told you before, Sakura-san, that I would protect you with my life, said Rock Lee as he gave Sakura a nice guy pose. Naruto's team. We're getting closer, said Naruto as the three were jumping throughout the woods yet again. That chakra signature is getting stronger. Is it because we are getting closer? Asked Haku. No. I think it's almost time it awakens, said Gaara as they arrived at the spot where Team 7 is currently resting. Looks like we're here, said Naruto as he told Gaara and Haku to go to the other sides to make a triangular position. Team 7. Lee was fatigued. He had used Omote Renge, initial Lotus, on Dosu but to no avail as Zaku had prevented that from happening. He collapsed from pain and exhaustion. As he was about to fall, he saw three ninjas that were standing in a triangular position and then went black. Then the Oto Kunoichi gripped Sakura's hair, as she was about to approach Lee. The Oto Nin smiled and said, "Wow, you have great hair. Are you trying to be a sexy kunoichi? You should take the job of a ninja seriously." Sakura then smiled as she cut off her hair and used kawarimi. After that she disappeared to be replaced by a log and appeared in front of Zaku. Zaku then used his Zenkuha as Sakura then used another kawarimi. Zaku then saw Sakura upwards and threw 5 shurikens at her. At first, Zaku thought that Sakura was about to use kawarimi, but Sakura never was replaced by a log. So Zaku never defended himself in time as Sakura stabbed him on his right shoulder and bit Saku's left arm. Zaku screamed as he then started to pound Sakura. "Let me go, you BCH. Let go," said Zaku as he continuously pounded Sakura. Naruto's team. Is it time to intervene, Naruto? Asked Gaara. Okay, we just had about enough of stalking, said Naruto as he stood up from his position. Sakura. Just as Zaku was about to punch Sakura again, 3 ninjas stood up from their position in a triangular fashion. That's enough, don't fight anymore, Sakura-san. As we can clearly see that you are now at a disadvantage, said Haku, as she was about to jump. Dosu had recognized those 3 to be the mysterious shinobi that the one with glasses met. He doesn't know why, but the 3 were giving of a cold shiver to his spine. He was scared and excited at the same time. Dosu was still looking at the 3 when Zaku charged. Dosu then fell out of trance as he saw Zaku trying to use the Zenkuha again. No, Zaku, don't, said Dosu, but too late as Zaku had released the air blast heading towards the Haku. Haku jumped up and Zaku missed. He then saw that Haku was now at his side with a Samban on his neck. Zaku then turned around to give an arm smack at Haku, but Haku ducked and struck Zaku at the stomach with a kick and Zaku skidded back. It seems as though you are weak when it comes to close-range combat, said Haku. Shut up, said Zaku as he threw 4 shurikens at Haku. Haku just stood there and raised her hand as the shuriken tried to make contact. Haku had caught the shuriken with the middle of her fingers. You can't hit me with these projectiles. My eyes are sharp to detect movement, said Haku as she dropped the shuriken. The Oto Kunoichi then started to throw 2 Senbon needles at Haku. Haku had raised her left hand and caught it with the middle of her fingers again. This time, Gaara had started to come down and used his sand to attack Zaku. Suna Kazui, sand spikes, said Gaara as sand appeared from below and started to attack Zaku. Zaku had no choice but to evade since he was running out of chakra. Then, Gaara felt a huge chakra surge where the 2 boys from Team 7 lay. Purple chakra began to engulf the raven-haired boy of Team 7 as he stood up with strange marks on his whole body. I see, in order to kill my brother, I have to get power even if it means eating the fruit of the devil, said Sasuke as he looked at his hands. Naruto noticed this and said, this is the chakra we detected. Did something happen to him? Sakura then looked at Naruto and said to him, this snake guy named Orochimaru bit him by the neck and gave him this weird bruise. Orochimaru? Asked Naruto as Gaara, Haku and Naruto remembered what Jiraiya had said. Flashback. Naruto and the 2 went to ask Jiraiya something. Naruto spoke up, Ero-sensei, since we now know 2 of the Sannin, who is the last member? Jiraiya had gritted his teeth when he was asked about the last member. He squinted his eyes and said, the last member of the Sannin is Orochimaru. He turned traitor before you were born because he wasn't chosen as the Yondaime, and he tried to conduct an experiment that involved immortality. Naruto then asked, why would he do that? All I know is he was drowned in learning jutsus, He became addicted to it, said Jiraiya. Did he have vices other than that? Asked Naruto. No, but I think he's gay, said Jiraiya. Flashback ends. Naruto gritted his teeth. No wonder they were brought down. A Sannin had intercepted them. Sasuke then asked Sakura, who did this to you? Zaku smirked. It was me who did it. So it was you. You better be ready, said Sasuke as he used a set of hand seals and ended in a tiger seal. Katan, how Senka no Jutsu. Mythical fire flower, said Sasuke as he threw multiple fireballs at Zaku. Hey, too easy. Zankuha, air blast, said Zaku as he blasted fireballs only to reveal a set of shuriken heading towards Zaku. Zaku, said Dosa as he saw Zaku being hit by multiple shurikens. Zaku was to be busy until he noticed Sasuke was at his side hitting him on the face with an arm smack. Zaku stumbled and fell down face first, and then Sasuke held his arms and Zaku's back was stepped on. So you take pride in your arms, what if I break them? Asked Sasuke as he tightened his grip and started to tear Zaku's arm. No, please don't, said Zaku as the bones on his arms were torn off. Zaku screamed in pain and fell to the ground. He looked at Dosa and said, You're next. Sasuke made a dash forward until Sakura stopped him by embracing him at the back and saying, Stop, please stop, Sasuke-kun, I don't want this anymore. Sasuke looked shocked as the strange markings on his body disappeared and returned to the strange bruise on his neck. Dosa looked at Sasuke and said, It has been a pleasure meeting you, you may have this scroll. Till we meet again, Sasuke-kun. Next time, we will not back down. With that, Dosa had left the Earth Scroll to Team 7, grabbed his two teammates, and disappeared from their view. Naruto grinned, looked at Sasuke and said, Great job, Uchiha-san. Here is a present we give to you. We were already done yesterday, we just wanted to check that strange chakra signature, and we found out that it's within you. Naruto then threw to Sasuke the heaven scroll they had gotten from the group of aim nins they fought. Till we meet again, said Gaara, bowing down as he and Haku jumped towards Naruto and made their way back to the tower. By now, Niji's team had arrived. Next day, Naruto and the others were now waiting for the remaining hours to finish for the third test. He then saw Team 7 entering the tower and looked to the Hokage. It was time the exam ends. With that, the Hokage started to say his speech. After his speech, a sickly Jounin appeared and said, Hokage-sama, I will judge this next test if you will. The Hokage nodded and let the Jounin talk. I am Gekahate and I will be the one to judge the preliminaries since there are still too many of you to participate in the third test. If any of you wishes to quit now, please feel free to do so. Just then, Kabuto raised his arms telling them he wanted to quit. After him, a genin from Suna raised his hand. The third member of the team from Suna had quit. After that the Jounin coughed, nodded his head and continued, Please go over those rails and wait for the screen with your name on it. The teams went towards the railings and began to look at the screen with random names. Naruto's team ended up beside Team 7 near Team 8. Naruto had leaned against the rail, Haku sat on the rail and Gaara leaned against the wall. Naruto noticed the first fight, Uchiha Sasuke vs Akato Yoroi. Sasuke was about to go down the stage until Kakashi went to speak to him. Sasuke, I know what's on your neck. After finishing this match, come with me. Sasuke gripped where the seal was placed on his neck. He looked at Kakashi and then went down the stairs. Naruto had noticed what Kakashi whispered to Sasuke and went to ask him. Excuse me, are you the Jounin instructor of Team 7? Asked Naruto as he looked at Sasuke. Kakashi nodded his head while being absorbed by his book. Naruto recognized the book being one of Jiraiya's works. He sighed and went to ask him, What is your name? Hatake Kakashi, said Kakashi as he flipped through a page. Kakashi-san, I am not a fool when I notice a seal. What is that seal on Sasuke's neck? Asked Naruto. Kakashi sighed. The kid had cornered him. The genin teams were not to know about Sasuke's seals, so Kakashi just whispered about it to Naruto. Naruto understood the situation. He had learned that the one on Sasuke's neck was a Juin, cursed seal. It was a seal that drew out enormous power but was still weaker in their forms. Naruto then thought of something. What could Orochimaru be up to? Naruto then looked at the match. It has begun. Sasuke went for a kick at Yoroi's waist. Yoroi blocked with his hand and went for a kick at Sasuke. Sasuke jumped and let his other foot kick at Yoroi. Yoroi fell down and Sasuke along with him. Yoroi then used an arm smack at Sasuke but was blocked by Sasuke's arms. Sasuke had gripped Yoroi's arm. Yoroi smirked under his mask. He had Sasuke where he wants Sasuke. He then flipped his arms and grabbed Sasuke by the shirt. Chakra began to appear as it heads towards Yoroi. What is this? Asked Sasuke, as his body was suddenly feeling weak. This is my blood limit. I am able to absorb chakra from my opponents, said Yoroi as he began to reach for Sasuke's head. He then started to absorb chakra from Sasuke's head. Sasuke began struggling as he gripped Yoroi's arm. Sasuke was in pain as the cursed seal began to react again. Sasuke then said, I won't fall victim to this seal. Sasuke kicked Yoroi's chin, sending him upward. Sasuke disappeared in a blur and appeared behind Yoroi. That's my Kagebuyo, said the bull-headed green spandex boy. Kagebuyo? Asked Naruto. Kagebuyo, or the leaf shadow dance, he copied it on the day we fought before the first exam. It involves sending the enemy airborne and begin attacking from his shadow, said the bull-headed boy. Oh, so what's your name? Asked Naruto, looking at the weird kid and his weird teacher. My name is Rock Lee. It is nice to meet you, said Lee, giving him the nice guy pose and the ping, with his teeth. Naruto turned blue and shuddered. Now this was a guy who had issues on his image. He looked at Sasuke, as the two combatants were still in midair. From now on, it's all original, said Sasuke as he went for a kick at Yoroi. Yoroi went to the side because of the kick as Sasuke went for a right arm smack at Yoroi's chest. Yoroi was sent plummeting downwards and Sasuke began for a left arm smack. Yoroi fell down and Sasuke finished it with a heel strike at Yoroi's abdomen, yelling, Shirshu Rindan, Lion Combo. Oh? Uchiha-san won that fight without using chakra and overpowering the cursed seal. I say he's very talented, Kakashi-san, said Naruto as he saw Sasuke falling down on the floor breathing heavily. Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke as he went to support Sasuke. Hate coughed and pointed his hand towards Sasuke, saying, Shosha, Uchiha Sasuke. Great work, Sasuke, come with me, said Kakashi as he and Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke, leaving the board for another random fight. The next fight has been decided, Aburame Shino vs. Zaku. Don't know his last name, could you tell me along with Kins? Shino had come down from his place while adjusting his sunglasses. He looked at his opponent. Zaku had a sling on his right arm. Hate had looked to both participants and said, second match, begin. Shino then looked at his opponent and said, there are 3 choices for you to have, face me and be defeated, be killed by them or give up. Shino then pointed to the bugs behind Zaku and said, with that many bugs, they could kill you by entering inside you and eating every last bit of chakra you have. I'm not scared of you, Zankuha, said Zaku as he blasted Shino with his air blast. After Zaku's onslaught, Shino was seen being covered by bugs. Zaku was shocked as he saw bugs surrounded Shino like an armor. The bugs then retreated from Shino's body and Shino is seen from the mass of bugs. Shino then spoke up, everyone should have at least have an ace up their sleeve. Here's my ace. Again, I'm letting you choose, give up, face my bugs, or face me. Zaku was put into a tight spot. He looked at Shino and then at the bugs. He had no choice. Zaku held up his right hand, forcing them to open, revealing the chakra air hole on his right hand. He then aimed his other hand at Shino. He smirked and said to Shino, didn't you say that everyone should at least have an ace up their sleeve? Zaku then tried to use Zankuha but failed as his arms had bursts of chakra from his chakra holes. Zaku was surprised as Shino went beside and gave him a punch, sending him flying back unconscious. Hate coughed once more and said, Shosha, Aburame Shino. Shino climbed up back to the stairs while Naruto's team looked curiously at Shino. Naruto said to himself, Shino used his bugs to enter Zaku's chakra air holes and because of pressure, chakra had risen up to his arms, making explosions to his chakra holes. Now for the next match, said Hate as the screen had begun its random selection of fighters. Kankura vs. Masumi. Naruto had watched the puppet warriors fight. It turned out to be a surprising one as he thought Kankura was killed. He saw that Kankura was hiding behind his puppet's back and began attacking Masumi. Naruto then turned to the screen as he watched the selection started again. He then saw the next fight. Haruno Sakura vs. Yamanaka Ino. Naruto had watched, as he became familiar with the pink-haired Kunoichi. She had a lot of guts facing those Otonins all by herself. I think she'd take this life a little more seriously, said Haku while sitting on the railing. Yeah, she's more dedicated now. She's not the type who'd want to be protected anymore, said Naruto. She even looks serious in this fight. I bet that girl she is facing must be her rival, said Gaara. Well then, if that's the case, then this fight should be an interesting one, said Naruto while looking at the two combatants. Hate had started the match. First off, Sakura used a bunshin to try and confuse Ino. Ino was confused at first, as she didn't know where would Sakura strike. Sakura had sent her Bunshins and attacked Ino. When the clones had reached Ino, Sakura had dispelled the Bunshins and the Bunshins disappeared in a puff of smoke, allowing Sakura to give a punch at Ino. I see she's also a good strategist. What she lacks in a variety of jutsus, she makes up with good strategies, said Naruto. She's also good at detecting genjutsu. With just the proper training, I bet she could be a great ninja, said Haku. This time, it was Ino who was pissed off. She got mad and started to cut off her long hair and threw it at Sakura. Shikamaru's eye was twitching. Gaara looked at him and asked, "Hey, why are your eyes twitching?" Ino's lost it. If Sakura doesn't think of a way soon, she might lose. Taku, women are troublesome, said Shikamaru, holding his head. Really? Well then, does that mean that Ino-san is not taking this fight seriously? Asked Naruto. Ino? Fight seriously? It's a possibility. I mean, she is fighting Sakura, said the plump boy. Ino then used a hand seal and aimed at Sakura. That is Shintenshin no Jutsu, mind-body transfer. It releases the user's consciousness to be able to transfer at the body of the target to limited amount of time. Although it is good in infiltration, there is a weakness when using Shintenshin. Once you miss, your body will be like a rag doll for a couple of minutes until your consciousness returns, leaving me to do whatever I want against you, said Sakura as Ino was still unfazed and continued her aim at Sakura. Sakura started to run in every direction until Ino said, "Ninpo, Shintenshin no Jutsu." Ino became like rag doll as Sakura also stopped. Ino, looks like you missed, said Sakura, smirking until Ino had started to get up. What? How? Asked Sakura as Ino answered her. Sakura, I wasn't aiming at you. I would be dumb enough to continue the jutsu. So you weren't my aim after all. My aim was this, said Ino as Chaka was focused on her hair, tying Sakura by the leg. Now Sakura, I'll use Shintenshin no Jutsu to make you quit this match, said Ino while holding up her hand and doing the seal for Shintenshin no Jutsu. Ninpo, Shintenshin no Jutsu, said Ino as the jutsu took effect. At the audience rails. Well, I guess that's it. Sakura-san would be forced to give up by default, said Haku. Naruto nodded his head as he saw Sakura raising her right hand, telling herself to quit until the third member of their teammate yelled. Sakura, are you just gonna quit? Fight it, Sakura. Sasuke would have said the same thing to you, yelled the white-haired boy. So who is the white-haired boy, and sorry, but what is your name? Asked Naruto. The white-haired boy is Itetsu Hiroshi, and I'm Nara Shikamaru. My friend here is Akamichi Tsuji, said Shikamaru as he looked at the fight once again. Inside Sakura's mind, Ino was about to say the last word when she heard a voice. That idiot, always so loud, said someone inside Sakura's head. Huh? What's going on? Asked Ino as she saw Sakura with a large lettering on her forehead that said Inner. Ino, if you don't get out now, said Inner Sakura as she grew large and started to squeeze Ino and continued, I'll give a new definition of hell for you. This is bad, I've had it, said Ino as she started to put her hands on a hand seal and said Ki. Audience rails. Ino-san seemed terrified when she used that jutsu on Sakura-san. Itai Doya Kotoda, what's going on? Asked Naruto. I don't know, but Sakura had somehow managed to let Ino dispel her technique, said Shikamaru. After that, they saw Sakura and Ino punched each other and fell down at the same time, unconscious. Since the fight had ended in a draw, both ninjas failed for the third test, said Hate as the screen had once again picked the next fighters. Tenten vs Temari. Naruto became bored at this fight. It turned out to be a one-sided battle as Temari uses winds to disrupt Tenten's aim. Tenten fell victim to Temari's Ninpo, Kamaitachi. Nara Shikamaru vs Kin. Naruto gave a smirk at his face when he saw Shikamaru fight. He slapped Shikamaru's back, making him lose his balance for a while, and said to him, "Good luck, Shikamaru-san." Whatever, said Shikamaru as he went down the stairs. Naruto had noted that Shikamaru was a brilliant strategist when he saw Shikamaru fight. He just knocked out a woman by making them retreat to a wall and bend backward by throwing a shuriken at each other. Hate then announced that Shikamaru had won. Naruto then took note of the next battle taking place. Then it happened. The next battle is Haku vs Rock Lee. Naruto then faced the green-clad warrior at his left, and then at Haku at his right. Haku jumped from her seat and landed at the arena, and Lee began to say to his sensei, "But Guy-sensei, I wanted to have the last battle," said Lee as his sensei reassured him, "Do not fret, Lee. Maybe in the main battles is where you will surely be at the last battle. Now go forth. For the springtime of youth is starting to flourish. Gi-sensei. Lee. Gi-sensei. Lee. Talk about weird people and their weird hobbies, said Naruto as he watched the two idiots making a scene. Ahem, please get this over with so that we could continue with the match, said Kakashi as he was reading his book. Ma. Kakashi. Why are you so hip that I am forced to make revolutionary actions? Said the self-proclaimed rival of Kakashi. Sorry, did you say something? Asked Kakashi. That is why you are my eternal rival, said Guy. Lee went to the arena as he saw Haku. His already large eyes started to grow even larger as he saw Haku. Haku-san, before we fight, let's make a bet. I will go out on a date with you if I win. If not, I will do 500 three-fingered push-ups. If not, I will squat with 2 pails of water 700 times, and if not, said Lee as he was cut short by Haku saying. Fine, but stop doing promises you can't keep, and I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in boys yet, said Haku, as she clearly wanted to get this match finally started. Next match, Hajime, said Hate. Sate, Hajime, said Hate as the combatants, Haku and Lee had began to charge at each other. Lee then sent a punch at Haku. Haku twisted her body to dodge and sent a punch at Lee while in midair. Lee jumped up and landed behind Haku to land a kick at Haku. Haku evaded by landing and sidestepping the attack, turning around and landing a horizontal chop at Lee's back. Lee saw the attack and backflipped. Lee then tried to land an uppercut at Haku, who backflipped herself. You are very good of taijutsu, Haku-san. Then I will do this technique, said Lee as he charged and began to do a spinning kick. Konoha senpu, leaf swirl, said Lee as the rotation of the spin got faster. Haku evaded the attack by jumping to the side and began to form her set of hand seals. Hijitsu, Sensatsu Suisho, secret technique, flying water needles, said Haku, as multiple water attacks had hit Lee. After the water desolidified, Lee retreated back, trying to ignore the pain. As Haku began approaching Lee at enormous speeds, Lee then dashed as fast as Haku to try and compete with her. Soon, they could see blurs crossing each other and landing each other blows. Haku managed to dodge every attack that Lee made. Lee then said, Konoha Dai Senpu, Great Leaf Swirl. Haku dodged the attack and saw an opening. She then proceeded in front of Lee and gave Lee a powerful uppercut, sending him flying towards the hand seal statue. Lee regained his balance and landed perfectly at the top of the hand seal statue. She is very good. I couldn't land any blows because she perfectly dodged every move I made, said Lee as he looked at his sensei, who only gave a nod. Even so, I have only begun to fight, said Lee as he reached for his legs to pull out his weights. Haku looked at Lee curiously, and she saw Lee drop the weights, making huge craters beside the statue. She then saw Lee making a mad dash towards her using Konoha senpu again. Haku reacted by jumping up. Lee then jumped in front of Haku and tried to give her multiple strikes. Haku evaded in midair and landed gracefully. Haku then saw Lee making his way with great speeds. Haku then used a set of hand seals and used Sensatsu Suisho, but to no avail as Lee was too fast for the water needles to land a hit. Lee tried to give Haku a powerful roundhouse kick only to end up hitting water. Haku created water with her hand and grabbed the two hilts of her short sword. She slid the first hilt, and the hilt absorbed the water, making an elegant blue short sword. The second one reacted on its own and immediately went through the water. Haku had caught the second short sword and began to charge faster than before, competing with Lee's speed once again. Haku gave a quick slash and Lee retreated. Lee then noticed that the stadium was full of water. Audience rails. What? How is that possible? Where did all the water come from? Asked Kakashi as he revealed his Sharingan towards Haku and Lee. Haku can create water out of nothing as long there is a component of that makes water. Hydrogen and oxygen. She creates water by mixing these two elements with her chakra, and thus water is created, said Naruto, noticing the fight below. But that's impossible even for ninjas. The Nidaime was a genius when it came to Swate Unjutsus. He extracted water from below the ground, thus water can be used for his techniques. Even he can't do that, said Kakashi. But Haku can. Haku was born having the ability to control water. Since then, she has been given a gift that can create water out of nothing, said Gaara. Arena. Lee then noticed the water around him, and Haku said to him, Now even your speed won't save you now. Haku then performed one-handed hand seals and mirrors began forming around Lee. Outside the mirrors, Haku slowly walked into the mirrors, revealing her image at Lee. Lee began to look around him as mirror images started to appear. Hijitsu, Makyu Hyushu, Secret technique, demonic ice mirrors, said Haku, as Lee heard multiple voices. Lee-san, be ready because I will go way faster than before, said Haku, as continuous slashes were made to Lee. Lee fell down because of the pain but struggled to get up. Haku noticed that the boy was now fully injured but he continued to get up. Lee then charged forward with great speeds and punched one of the glasses, which surprisingly broke. I never knew that you could use chakra so desperately, said Haku as she went out of the mirrors. Lee stood up holding his other arm and breathing heavily. He had a lot of cuts on his body due to Haku's attacks. Lee knew that Haku attacked him close and goes back to the mirrors and then attacks through another mirror. Lee was breathing heavily. He was already fatigued. He looked at his sensei and his sensei smiled. Lee knew what he must do now. He unwrapped the bandages from his arms and charged towards Haku. He circled Haku. Haku prepared herself from an attack as she didn't notice the bandage. Haku was too late as she was now wrapped in bandages. Lee had appeared in front of her and Lee said, Omote Range. Initial Lotus. Lee then kicked Haku upward, sending her plummeting skyward. Lee had appeared behind Haku and grasped Haku. With that, Lee sent the two of them plummeting downwards in a great spin. Lee flinched for a second as Haku saw her chance and had done something. The attack had made contact. Lee had launched Haku downwards and Lee checked if he had won. What he saw shocked him. Haku was only a puddle of water and saw Haku behind him giving Lee a kick. Lee fell down and struggled to get up again. I noticed that you flinched after doing Omote Range. Pain must be exceeding your body right now, said Haku as she placed her short swords at her pouch again. She then said again, Please give up, Lee-san, you are at your very limit now. You couldn't even stand properly anymore, seeing your knees are shaky. Lee was breathing heavily as he was struggling to get up. He looked at his sensei and back to Haku. He was smiling now, and said to Haku, I still have to prove to everyone that I am a great ninja even if I can't use ninjutsu or genjutsu. I will still fight. Gai-sensei's smile is all I need for me to continue this fight. Lee-san, you are at your limit, and you have already proven to many of us that you are more than capable now of being a ninja. Don't push yourself so you could try to be a hero. Even if you try to push yourself, what can you do now? You could hardly punch anymore, said Haku as she started to turn around and walk. Lee had said, Just watch, Haku-san, Hashiman Tanku. Dai-san came on. Kai. 8 gates opening, 3rd gate, life gate. Open. Lee suddenly powered up and continued to say, I will prove that I am an excellent ninja. Let's go, Haku-san. Kyakudo Range. Extreme Lotus, said Lee as he gave a powerful thrust forward. Haku had squinted at first as she saw Lee dashing forward faster than before. You have passed your limit, Lee-san. I tried to warn you. I guess I have to fight like you, exceeding my limits, said Haku, as she untied the sticks on her hair and contacted the demon within her. What is it, child? Asked the Mizuryu. Hanyu mode level 1, please activate it, said Haku. Very well, said the Mizuryu as a light blue aura had surrounded Haku. When the aura disappeared, Haku was seen with light blue marks, like the curse seal, just lighter, and gold-slitted eyes. Audience rails. What is that? Asked Kakashi. Just watch. That kind of fight doesn't happen too often, said Gaara that only Kakashi could hear. Niji looked at Lee's opponent and activated his Dijitsu, Byakugan. What Niji saw surprised him. The chakra was engulfing Haku and was blinding his Byakugan. Arena. Haku charged at Lee with such speeds, it rivaled Lee's again. Lee had given Haku a punch. Haku evaded the blow and sent a kick at Lee's stomach, forcing Lee to skid back. Lee then proceeded to give another punch. Haku evaded by ducking but didn't notice Lee's knee strike. Haku was sent falling back and Lee sent a powerful kick upwards. Lee then jumped to face Haku and gave Haku powerful strikes. Haku blocked every blow that Lee had sent upward, countering with her own. Haku sent in a powerful kick in midair, ending the onslaught on Lee. Then something flashed into Haku's mind. A Mizuryu. Haku then performed a series of hand seals and ended it with a bird's seal. A/N, they are still in midair. Suetun, Suryoden no Jutsu, Water Dragon Blast, said Haku as she sent a powerful water dragon towards Lee. Lee couldn't counter anymore as he clearly was at his limits now and his body can't cooperate with him anymore. The water dragon had attacked Lee with his celestial gates still activated. Upon the attack, Lee was swept away by the water dragon, knocking him out. Rock Lee could not continue any further. Shouja, Haku, said Hate as he pointed Haku. Haku then retreated to her normal form and went towards his team. As the screen started to select another set of random fighters once again. Uzumaki Naruto vs Inuzuka Kiba. And Naruto? Uzumaki Naruto? The missing child for 7 years? No way. said Kakashi as he took a glance to Naruto at his left as the boy was going down the stairs. Kiba had looked into the screen and said to his dog Akamaru, "This is gonna be easy." But his dog did otherwise. Akamaru had hid inside Kiba's jacket while Naruto had gotten down from his place to Hiate's side. "Looks like your dog can tell the strength I'm holding back," said Naruto as he looked at Kiba upstairs. Kiba looked nervous. He had to fight one of the mysterious members of this team. He knew he couldn't fight him in his level, but his pride said otherwise. Kiba jumped from his position and faced his opponent, Uzumaki Naruto. Hayate looked at the two combatants and said, "Uzumaki Naruto versus Inuzuka Kiba, Hajime." Kiba, after hearing what Hayate said, immediately performed a hand seal and said, "Gijyu Ninpo, Shikyaku no Jutsu," for legs technique. Kiba's attributes became more animalistic and started to attack Naruto with a great boost of speed. Naruto didn't even move when Kiba was about to attack him with his claws. Naruto only caught Kiba's arm and was still smiling at Kiba. Kiba, on the other hand, was struggling to get his hand away from Naruto. "What an enormous strength this guy has," thought Kiba, as Naruto flicked Kiba's hand away, making Kiba fall off balance. "Your speed won't work on me, Kiba-san. Better do any other ninjutsu before I do one myself." "You only have 3 tries, Kiba-san," said Naruto as he just looked at Kiba. Kiba scowled at that comment and attacked by spinning like a top. "Tsuga! Piercing Fang," said Kiba as he attacked Naruto. Naruto only looked at Kiba, placed his left hand in a hand seal, and aimed his open palm at the incoming Tsuga. Before the attack made contact, Kiba said, "What? What's happening? Why is my attack suddenly out of control?" Everyone excluding Naruto's team gasped. Within Naruto's hand, chakra is swirling at his palm. A grinding noise can be heard and Kakashi recognized the move. "What? That noise, that's Rasengan," said Kakashi as the Jounin instructor of Team 8 looked at Kakashi questionably. "Rasengan?" asked Kurenai. "That was the technique Yondaime created and mastered within 3 years. That move is exceptionally strong. Even my Raikiri has no match from that technique," said Kakashi, revealing his Sharingan again. He looked at Kurenai and said, "Kurenai, stop this match now. Kiba may not live from that attack." "You worry too much, Kakashi-san," said Naruto, as he looked at Kiba and continued, "I only used stage 2 Rasengan enough to make Kiba's attack spin out of control." Kiba looked at Naruto. Naruto was still not moving from his spot. Kiba looked at Akamaru and gave Akamaru a pill. "Akamaru, let's go. Gijyu Ninpo, Jujin Bunshin no Jutsu. Human beast clone technique," said Kiba as the dog turned into an exact replica of Kiba. "Let's go, Akamaru," said Kiba as both he and his dog attacked in speed like before. Naruto only looked at them as Kiba and Akamaru attempted to make quick slashes at him. Naruto caught the hands again, and this time, he threw each other in the opposite direction. Kiba and his clone landed on the wall, and one of them said, "Akamaru." "That's too, Kiba-san, this would be your last attempt," said Naruto as Kiba and his dog charged at him with great speeds and jumped up. "Take this. Getsuga, double piercing Fang." Kiba and Akamaru spun like drill and headed downward towards Naruto. Naruto looked up and said, "Since you're doing your strongest attack, I should also do something for my part." "What?" asked Kiba as Naruto jumped up and tried to ram straight to the two with Getsuga still activated. "Are you insane? You'll be destroyed by our attack," said Kiba. "I don't see that happening, Hijitsu, Shunshin no Jutsu. Body flicker," said Naruto as he vanished into a blur, leaving an after-image at his wake. Kiba was surprised when he saw Naruto immediately in front of him. Naruto aimed a powerful punch at Kiba with his Shunshin still activated. "Kiba-san, this is the power of my Shunshin combined with my Taijutsu style, Kanbi Ryo, Erasure no Tama, style combination, Ball of Storms," said Naruto as a vortex appeared around Naruto's arm and punched the Getsuga. Kiba fought back the powerful vortex but to no avail. "I feel like I'm fighting a hurricane. It's too powerful," said Kiba as the attack took effect, canceling the Getsuga and falling down with his dog. Kiba landed safely and breathing heavily. He wasn't about to quit just yet. Naruto, on the other hand, just landed on his position once again. He never moved an inch. He only jumped. "I see that you're still not yet down. Very well, I'll knock you out with this attack," said Naruto as red chakra began to engulf him. The chakra was slowly surrounding Naruto, and Naruto appeared with his hair rising up like that of the Yondaime. It was spiked again. His cerulean eyes turned blood-red ones with slits. His nails grew longer and teeth turned into fangs. His whisker marks began to go deeper. He looked at Kiba and said, "Beware when you stare at my eyes when I am in this mode. Juggin, evil eye." His eye then began to project a genjutsu when Kiba stared at Naruto's eyes. He fell into the genjutsu and saw his nightmare. After that, Kiba fell unconscious. Hate checked the boy's pulse and found out he was still breathing. He looked at Naruto and announced, "Shosha, Uzumaki Naruto." Naruto turned back to normal, then went up to the stage to be greeted by his teammates. The remaining genins were shocked, then Chuji said, "He didn't even change his position." "Sensei, he's turning out to be like you said," Kakashi as he went back on reading his book. "You just had to show off, didn't you?" asked Gaara as he looked at Naruto. "Hey, I just wanted to prove that all of us could activate it," said Naruto. Fine, we get your point," said Haku as Hinata had walked to Naruto and said, "See, congratulations, and Naruto-kun." "Thanks, Hinata-chan," said Naruto, giving Hinata his big grin. Soon the screen started to select again. The screen ended up with Itetsu Hiroshi vs. Gaara. "Gaara?" asked Temari as she was reminded of her little brother. She stared at the smiling boy at the other stand and smiled. She was happy for Gaara. Kankuro saw his younger brother. He felt more secure this time as Gaara was happily walking downward towards the arena and looked at Gaara's opponent. Kankuro expected that Gaara would win this easily. "Looks like this mysterious team would be the one to win again," said Shikamaru. "What? How do you say that?" "Hiroshi is a member of a clan here in Konoha that are specialists when it came to demolition missions. They have explosive tags that are kept within Air family only. Not only that, they have jutsus that involve explosive jutsus. It's not yet considered a one-sided battle," said Sakura, but Naruto said otherwise. "Even if what you say is true, Hiroshi's attacks won't even pierce through Gaara's defense," said Naruto as he motioned towards Sakura's group. This time, Kankuro also walked towards Sakura's group. "What the blonde-haired kid said is true. Gaara has an absolute defense that prevents any attacks to come at Gaara. I should know because I am his older brother," said Kankuro. "Gaara's older brother, eh? Did you know that he was planned to be assassinated the night he went missing?" asked Naruto. "No, Tusama must have kept it from us. He is the Kazekage after all. Tusama never allowed us to be with Gaara," said Kankuro. "Don't worry, I'm sure Gaara would forgive you guys. I mean, he does have a stable mind," said Haku. "Stable mind? What are you talking about? Gaara doesn't sleep and you consider it a stable mind?" asked Kankuro as he knew Gaara was very unstable. "Actually, Gaara sleeps fairly well now. Someone fixed his seal and everything's fine. But I don't think he wants to go back to Suna anymore," said Naruto looking down. "Oh well, then just tell Gaara we just said hi," said Kankuro, but Naruto said to him, "Do it yourself. I know Gaara would love to see his siblings now." "Okay, hey look, the fight's starting," said Kankuro. Arena. "Itetsu Hiroshi vs. Gaara, Hajime," said Hate, moving away from the battle. Hiroshi began to attack first by going for a straight punch. Gaara was standing there unfazed when the sand began to react on its own and went up to defend Gaara. "This is my first line of defense, the Suna no Tate, shield of sand. You can't pierce through me any physical attack," said Gaara. "Let's see about that," said Hiroshi, grabbing a kunai with an explosion note wrapped around its hilt. He fired one straight at Gaara and Gaara's sand blocked the kunai. Hiroshi smiled when Gaara caught the kunai. The kunai exploded, leaving a huge cloud of smoke. "Is that all what you got?" asked Gaara, coming out of the smoke without a scratch. "That attack exploded all right, but the sand absorbed much of the impact, so I was like only pushed by someone my age," said Gaara as he dusted himself off. "So? If that's the case, I'll just double my force," said Hiroshi, grabbing an orange exploding tag. The tag had a metal strip at the back of the tag itself and threw it at Gaara. Audience rails. "What's the difference between a red explosion tag and an orange one?" asked Naruto. "Between the Itetsu Ikizoku, they create explosion tags that vary, a normal red one, an orange one, and a gray one. The orange explosion tag doubles the amount of explosion and the impact, while the gray one is a flash tag. It works like a light ball, only this tag gives of more flash and lasts longer," said Sakura, and was continued by Shikamaru. "If you asked me, the strongest team out of the current rookie 9 is Team 7. I overlooked at their skills when we were assigned to our teams that day. Sakura's brains, Sasuke's speed, and Hiroshi's power." Arena. Hiroshi had thrown the orange explosion tag towards Gaara. Gaara reacted by forming his set of hand seals and said, "Suna no Shihiki. Barrier of sand." The explosion tag had made contact. There was a large explosion that was emitted by Hiroshi's tag. He grinned as he thought that he had won. Upon the smoke cleared, Gaara was standing. There were signs on the floor that told everybody that Gaara was skidded back by the force. Hiroshi looked surprised as Gaara was walking out of the smoke, saying that he was still unscratched. Hiroshi was ticked. He didn't know what to do next. "I guess I'll have to think of a plan," said Hiroshi as Gaara had started his assault with his sand. Hiroshi was ready as the sand ravaged through the arena floor towards Hiroshi. Hiroshi sidestepped to the left as he saw another attack by the sand. He rolled through the attack and jumped up just as the sand was about to hit him. Another wave of sand attacked him from below when Hiroshi was still in midair. Hiroshi did a series of hand seals, and in the place of Hiroshi was a log. "Kawarimi?" asked Gaara as Hiroshi threw 3 shurikens at the back of Gaara. Gaara's sand had protected him, and Gaara looked to his back only to find Hiroshi placed a gray explosion note on the ground. Gaara was temporarily blinded by the flash as he saw the bright light. Hiroshi then punched Gaara by the face, sending him across the floor. Gaara rose from his feet and looked at Hiroshi. "You have made a clever plan, Hiroshi-san, but I was still not hurt," said Gaara as the punch made a crack on Gaara's face. "You've only been able to damage my Suna no Yoroi, armor of sand. But it is restoring itself now. Hiroshi-san, if you want to fight in close combat, then I'll do what you do," said Gaara as he raised up his hand, and the sand from Gaara's gourd spat out a red chain staff. Gaara had held it in the middle, and the sand began supporting it in a straight line. With Gaara's chakra, the staff jointed itself to the chains, and the blade from the top of the staff began to take shape. "Suna Zanbatsu," said Gaara as he started swirling the long blade and then going back to his stance. "What the he's gonna go for a close-range fight? Shit! I might die," said Hiroshi as he saw Gaara charging as fast as Haku. "I may be a long-range type of ninja, but I also fight well in close combat. Suna Zanbatsu kata, Jinsaku Dejiki. Suna Zanbatsu style, rapid strike," said Gaara as multiple thrusts were created, forcing a lot of cuts on Hiroshi. Hiroshi fell down as Gaara just stood there. "I guess I'll have to rely on our family jutsu, hee," said Hiroshi, standing up and putting his hands in a series of hand seals. "Ninpo Bakuho no Jutsu. Ninja art, burst technique," said Hiroshi as he punched the ground, revealing multiple explosions on the ground heading towards Gaara. Gaara had no time to react as his back was clearly turned. After the smoke cleared, Hiroshi stood up, breathing heavily. He looked at where Gaara stood. He looked up thinking it was over until he saw Gaara. Gaara had a tail made of sand, and his right hand was now enlarged due to the sand. His left eye was that of the Eye of Shikaku's, gold, and had 4 dots. Gaara had charged through the smoke and headed towards Hiroshi. Hiroshi was breathing heavily and couldn't move anymore. He had spent his chakra on his family jutsu and tried to force it through Gaara's defense. Gaara was now approaching him at high speeds, and Gaara smacked his large right arm at Hiroshi, knocking him out. Gaara's sand quickly retreated back to its gourd and began to go upstairs. Hate looked at Hiroshi and checked his pulse. "Itetsu, Hiroshi can't continue anymore, Shousha," Gaara said Hate as Gaara slowly walked upstairs. Naruto, on the other hand, watched the screen for the next set of fighters. There were only 4 left: Dosa from the sound, Hyuga Hinata, Hyuga Niji, and Akamichi Tsuji. The screen then ended with the names. Next fight, Hyuga Hinata vs Hyuga Niji. Naruto looked worried. He had set his eyes towards Hinata and then to Niji. By this time, Rock Lee had woken up. "I see this battle will determine the fate of those two," said Lee. "What are you talking about?" asked Naruto. "This fight has a lot to do with the Hyuga Ikizoku," said Lee, as he looked at his teammate. "There became a conflict between the 2 houses for years now," said Lee. "2 houses?" asked Naruto. "I am sorry, Naruto-kun, for I forgot that you are foreign here in Konoha. Then I shall tell you. The Hyuga clan are divided by 2 houses, the main house and the branch. Hinata is from the main house and Niji is from the branch house. Recently, the 2 houses had a disagreement, and this could very well be the one to decide the fate of the 2, said Lee. Naruto looked at Hinata once again. This time Hinata noticed, as she was about to come down. Naruto had walked over to her, smiled and said, "Good luck, Hinata-chan." Hinata blushed at Naruto's speech and went down. Hinata had looked at Niji, then at Naruto. Naruto was smiling to her. Hinata was standing in front of Niji waiting for Hate to start the match. Before Hate managed to say begin, Niji started playing with Hinata's mind. "Hinata-sama, you should quit now. You know what will happen if you continue with this fight," said Niji as he began his mental assault at Hinata. "The way you put finger in front of your mouth, the way you are heavily breathing. These are signs that tell weaknesses. Hinata-sama, you are a dropout. A dropout will always be a dropout," said Niji as he activated his Byakugan, looking at Hinata. Niji continued his verbal assault at Hinata until Naruto burst in anger. Who the FCK are you to tell that to her? Hinata, you know yourself more. Don't let his words get to you. Fight him, Hinata, said Naruto as he gripped the railings hard. Niji looked at Naruto and said, meddling fool. Hinata looked at Naruto, then to Niji. She then had a new resolve. Hinata clasped her hands for a series of hand seals and activated her own Byakugan. From now on, I'll believe in myself. I can't waste what Naruto-kun had said to me. I won't back down in this fight, said Hinata to herself as Niji grew angry. You still want to fight? You should know very well what would happen to you. Are you sure you want to fight? Asked Niji as he looked ticked. Niji Nissen, I won't retreat anymore this time. I will fight, said Hinata with a determined look. Then prepare yourself, said Niji, as he was the first to charge. Niji leaned forward to dash at Hinata and prepared his hands. Hinata began her defense as she parried Niji's attack. Hinata then tried to give Niji her own attack and Niji parried her attack. The two began trading blows and dodged each other's attack. As the two were in a total deadlock, Hinata took a step back and put all her force at her palm strike. She gave Niji a powerful strike and Niji blocked her attack. The deadlock between the two continued until Niji saw his chance and attacked Hinata at the chest and pushed his two fingers at Hinata's arm. Hinata had coughed up blood and breath heavily. But Hinata didn't give up as she attacked Niji with her other arm. Niji caught Hinata's arm and pushed his two fingers again. Niji then removed the sleeve from Hinata's arm to reveal multiple wounds. What is that? Asked Naruto as Kakashi answered him. It's called a tenketsu. According to theory, if they are hit accurately, the flow of chakra is disrupted and can be controlled by the one who attacked the person, said Kakashi as he continued. Even my Sharingan can't see the tenketsu. Naruto then looked at Niji and Hinata's battle. Hinata had continued to attack as Niji ducked and attacked Hinata's chin. Hate looked at Hinata and said the battle was over. Hinata had fallen and struggled to get back up. I won't take back my words, it is my way of the ninja, said Hinata, struggling to get up, turning to Niji and coughed up blood again. I know that you have been suffering, Niji Nissen, you know it, said Hinata as she was coughing out blood again. Niji got mad and started to charge at Hinata. No! The match has already ended, said Hate, running towards Niji. Before Niji could attack Hinata, 4 jounins, consisting of Hate, Asuma, Kurenai and Kakashi had appeared in a puff of smoke to stop Niji. This time, Hinata had fallen on the ground. Naruto had jumped down and ran towards Hinata. Kurenai had checked Hinata and was shocked. Hinata was having a heart attack now. Kurenai had looked at Niji, who had a smirk on his face, saying, What are you waiting for? She's losing time. This time Naruto had reached Hinata and did a couple of hand seals. His hand was glowing a green aura and placed his hand at Hinata's chest. Naruto had looked at Hinata and she looked healthier now. He then said to Kurenai, She's safe for now. I used a healing jutsu that Tsunade-sama had taught me. It's only first aid, but we need to get her to a hospital now. Kurenai was surprised. She never thought that the kid in front of him able to do healing jutsus other than common ninjutsu. She was even more surprised when she found out that Naruto was trained by one of the legendary Sannin. I can't use Shunshin because it might tear Hinata-chan apart, said Naruto, as he stood up and clasped his hands again for another set of hand seals. Kuchios no Jutsu, said Naruto as a wolf the same height as Kurenai appeared in front of him. Naruto picked Hinata up in his arms, still not facing Niji, and Naruto finally said, I swear to you, Niji. Naruto then turned back with red-slitted eyes facing Niji. For what you did to her, I will do to you 1,000-fold. I will win in the main matches. Niji just smirked and turned to walk away. Naruto was containing his anger as he saw Niji arrogantly walk towards the audience platform. The wolf then bowed down as it saw Naruto, and Naruto rode the wolf. The wolf then exited the room and Naruto told him to go to the hospital. The wolf dashed as fast as it can and reached the outside gate. There, the wolf dashed to the hospital and Naruto held Hinata tighter. I don't want to lose the people who are close to me, said Naruto as they soon reached the hospital. Inside, Naruto had inquired to a nurse who was looking at him. Do you have any rooms for her to be placed? She received an internal injury at the heart fighting, said Naruto as the nurse was dazed watching Naruto, then snapped back. Why yes. She'll have a room, please follow me, said the nurse as she forced herself not to stumble. Upon reaching the room, Naruto decided to go out and get back to the preliminaries. Until he heard someone. Tell me, what is the condition of Hyuga Hinata? Asked a white-eyed man. She's currently resting. Someone brought him back saying she had an internal damage. When we checked if she was still okay, we noticed that her injuries were somehow had put her out of the danger zone. That boy must have done a fine first aid. We didn't need any other work except to fully restore her chakra circulatory system. Even then, only minimal work is now required for her injuries," said the nurse. Hayashi was pleased to take note of that and saw a boy with blonde hair and whisker marks. The nurse looked at him and said, "That's the boy now, Hyuga-sama." The nurse then turned to the blonde-haired boy and asked, "Forgive me, but I forgot to ask your name." Hayashi had looked with his jaw dropped. He can't be seeing things now. He thought that what was in front of him was the boy that the fourth had treated a hero. He snapped back to reality when he heard the boy say, "Uzumaki Naruto." Hayashi was now surprised at the boy in front of him. It really was the boy. Hayashi looked at him and bowed. "Thank you very much," said Hayashi, bowing down to Naruto. Naruto looked at Hayashi and said, "Please don't. I'd just do what any person would." Hayashi then raised his composure and walked away with a smile. Naruto had exited the hospital and saw Gaara and Haku waiting for him outside. "So how was the last match?" asked Naruto as he looked at the two. "Not much. Chuji-san lost to that Dosa guy by amplifying his sound waves through Chuji-san's body fluids," said Haku, and Gaara continued, "After that, we were asked to pick a number on who are we going to fight. I got number 6, Haku got 3, and you got 1. So who am I going to fight?" asked Naruto as Haku and Gaara looked at each other and grinned. "Hyuga Niji." "So immediately I fight him in the first round," said Naruto. Naruto closed his fists and looked at the two with excitement and asked the two, "So who are your opponents?" "Kinyuta Dosa," said Haku. "Haku, Dosa will be your natural enemy as you know how he attacks," said Naruto, and Haku nodded. "I already have a plan against him. Since water conducts vibration, why not create your own vibration of water that will nullify his attack? Sounds an effective tactic to me," said Haku, then turning to Gaara. "Uchiha Sasuke," said Gaara. "So now that Kakashi-san saw your defense, I suppose you'll need a powerful defense against Uchiha-san. They would most likely train on a jutsu that pierces your defense," said Naruto, and Gaara nodded. "Shikaku is already trying to teach me a jutsu that creates the ultimate absolute defense," said Gaara. "So how about you, Naruto? What would your battle plan be?" asked Haku. "I'll just use Kyuubi's chakra. I guess it'll be my most needed technique since that Niji uses his Tenketsu strikes," said Naruto as they now started to walk to their house. As they were walking, girls kept on looking at Naruto. "Naruto, do they have something against you when they stare like that?" asked Gaara as Haku gave a small chuckle. "Boys will be boys," said Haku, thinking. "Don't know, all I know is that they don't stare like that when they hate me," said Naruto as one of the girls started to approach him. The girl was blushing hard in front of Naruto. "Hello Ano, what's your name?" asked the girl. "Naruto, why are you asking, miss? Did I do something that offended you?" asked Naruto, totally oblivious. Nothing," said the girl, blushing and turning away. "Looks like someone's popular with the ladies," said Haku. "Really? Who?" asked Naruto. Haku just sighed and said, "Never mind." Reaching at the hot springs, they heard a familiar laugh. Naruto and Gaara told Haku to wait outside, and Haku just obeyed. Inside, Naruto and Gaara saw Jiraiya taking a peek again. "Old habits never die, do they, Erosenin?" asked Naruto. Jiraiya gasped and saw Naruto and thought, "Crap. When they are here it means one thing, Tsunade might be close behind." "Don't worry about Tsunade-sama, Erosenin, she isn't here," said Naruto. "Oh good. Well then, see you," said Jiraiya until Naruto interrupted him. "Erosenin, what kind of advice would you lend me in using techniques and learning them?" asked Naruto. Jiraiya looked at him and said, "Practice and learn different jutsus that are out of your field. For example, Katan jutsus." Naruto then took the pervert's advice and decided to visit the Hokage. "Hokage Tower." "Naruto? What is it?" asked the third. "Old man, do you happen to have a scroll that teaches fire jutsus?" asked Naruto. "Of course, Naruto, come with me to the library and I'll lend it to you," said the Hokage. Naruto following the third. At the library, the third had handed a scroll about Katan jutsus to Naruto. Naruto opened it up to find 4 jutsus. Katan, Gakaki no Jutsu, Fire Element, Grand Fireball Technique. Katan, Hausenka no Jutsu, Fire Element, Mythical Fire Flower Technique. Katan Karyadan, Fire Element, Fire Dragon Bullet Technique. Katon, Carrier Endin, Fire Element, Fire Dragon Napalm. Right, simple enough. Old man, I'm gonna borrow this for a while, said Naruto as he waved at the third with the scroll at his hands. Wait, Naruto. Have you decided yet? Asked the third. Hi, Ji-chan. I decided that we'd stay. But we will be granted permission to travel without questions asked. I feel that something is being brewed underneath this whole fiasco, said Naruto as the third handed to him Konoha forehead protectors. Uzumaki Mansion. Did you find what you were looking for? Asked Gaara, who was resting on the couch with his head facing the roof. Yup, I got the scroll from Old Man Hokage. Since Ero-sennin is here, why not Tsunade-sama? Asked Naruto. Don't know, should we invite her to watch this test? I mean, it would be nice when we see her on the audience rails cheering us on, said Haku. Sure, why not? I mean, she could support us, and I bet she would be glad when she sees her old teacher, said Naruto. Even if we do decide to invite her, what will our chances be when we find her under a month? Asked Gaara, and the two sighed until Naruto remembered what he did. I think our chances would be big. Jiraiya might have a picture of Tsunade, and we could find her using Gaara's Hawk Summon, said Naruto, and Gaara lowered his head. That'll be a great idea. Since birds of prey have really good eyesight, we could find her in less than 4 hours around Konoha, said Gaara. Great. We go to Jiraiya right now, said Naruto as they went back to go to Jiraiya. Hot Springs. Naruto and Gaara entered the room again. Jiraiya was quietly peeping and Naruto said, Ero-sennin, do you have a picture of Tsunade-sama? Yeah, here, now don't bother me. I'm in the middle of a great research, said Jiraiya absent-mindedly giving Tsunade's picture. Thanks, Ero-sennin, said Naruto as they headed outside the hot springs. You got it? Asked Haku. Yup. Now let's go, said Naruto, as Gaara summoned his Hawk Summon, Kaze Tsukai. Kaze looked at the three and said to Gaara, what is your bidding? Kaze-san, look at this picture, we need to find her right away, said Gaara. The giant hawk just nodded and the three went to the bird's back and started to fly. Hey, I know, why not summon a small wolf for us to trail Tsunade? I had some of her bandages here that she threw away, said Naruto. But why did you grab a bandage from Tsunade-sama? Asked Haku. For emergency, when we need her, we rely on this, said Naruto, as he summoned a small wolf and asked the wolf, would you smell this bandage and tell me where the trail of scent is? The wolf nodded and smelled the bandage. It pointed southward and the hawk began to go there. 1 hour later. The three had found their destination, a small town in tea country where gambling was rampant like in Tanzaku. They went into a casino inside and saw Tsunade losing to a bet. Naruto then decided to play the game, as he wanted to finish this fast so they could start training. The gambler started to throw the small dice into a small basket and began to shake it. Tsunade had looked at Naruto and Naruto was asked, Cho or Han? Naruto had thought hard about this one and Naruto said, Cho. The gambler smirked and said to Naruto, I win if it's Han. The gambler slowly revealed the answer on the dices, which revealed a 2 to 5 combination. Cho, said one of the gamblers. Does that mean I win? Asked Naruto. Haku and Gaara laughed at their teammates' antics and Naruto received a whole lot of chips. Naruto then turned to Tsunade and said, Tsunade-sama, Gaara, me and Haku decided to invite you at the 3rd test of the Chunin exam. No. I won't go to Konoha, said Tsunade with an emotionless face. Ah, come on, Tsunade-sama. Cheer for us there. I bet those feudal lords would start making bets. You'll eventually win, said Naruto trying to convince Tsunade. At the sound of the word bet, Tsunade's gambling instincts became high. She could win her losses there and pay back her debts to the previous casinos big time. She thought of how many possibilities that she could run into feudal lords that are willing to bet against her when she bets for these kids. She smiled and said to Shizen, we're visiting home. Grab your stuff and we'll go back to Konoha. Shizen obeyed and within an hour, they were back at Konoha inside the Uzumaki estates. Great. Now that you guys are here, why not stay at our house for a while? We've got a lot of spare rooms for you guys to spend the month, said Naruto. Naruto, are you sure about this? I mean, we don't need your help in finding a place to stay, said Shizen. The hell with what you just said. Our house gets pretty lonely from time to time, and we have guests staying, Besides, the three of us don't know how to cook because all we ended up eating on the road was grilled fish on an open fire," said Naruto. "Okay, we stay for a month and for the last test of the Chunin exams. After that, we leave, alright?" said Tsunade to the three. "Okay, we get it, only a month," said Gaara. Haku meanwhile said to Tsunade, "Ano, Tsunade Shursho, could you teach me some complex medic nin techniques and excluding Suzo Seze? I may need it in my battle." "Sure, why not? Me and Shizen would love to teach you," said Tsunade, affirming Haku with a pat on the back. Next morning, Naruto had woken up to see an ANBU member knocking at his door. Naruto groggily went down the stairs and opened the door. "Excuse me, Naruto-kun, we saw Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya-sama yesterday and Hokage-sama wants their presence," said the ANBU. Hi, I'll tell it to Tsunade-sama," said Naruto, closing the door and started to yawn. He walked towards Tsunade's room and Naruto started to knock. Tsunade woke up and went to the door. Tsunade opened the door and saw Naruto. "Tsunade-sama and ANBU came by here saying you and Ero-sanin will have a meeting with old man Hokage," said Naruto. Tsunade then said to herself, "What's the matter with the old man? Is there something going on that is too dangerous that involved the two of us?" "Hokage Tower. You better have a good reason for us to be gathered here, sensei," said Jiraiya. "Whatever it is, I'm out of here. I have no business in Konoha," said Tsunade. "Tsunade, please don't leave just yet. I'm here to discuss to you about your former teammate," said the third. "Orochimaru? What does that fag want anyway?" asked Jiraiya. "You probably know that already, Jiraiya. Aside from a new host, Orochimaru may already have plans on attacking not just Konoha, but other nations as well. Konoha is just the first target, but we can't let him continue his ambitions," said the old man. "Sensei, if you think he's the only troublesome being that is a big threat, remember what I said to you," said Jiraiya, and the old man nodded. "Yes, the Akatsuki is a big threat in not just Konoha but also other nations as well," said the old man. "In any case, I'll do this as a last request for you, Sarutobi-sensei. After that, I won't have anything to do at Konoha anymore," said Tsunade. The third nodded his head for affirmation, and Tsunade left the building. "She's still living in the memories of those two," said Jiraiya, looking at the door where Tsunade left. "Give her time. I'm sure she'll rediscover why she protected the village like many years ago," said the third. Jiraiya also exited the room after what the third said. Uzumaki Estates. Naruto was training with the scroll the third gave him. First technique, Katon, Gakaki no Jutsu. Naruto studied the hand seals for 5 minutes and had redone what the instructions had said. Then Naruto leveled it up with Katon, Housenka no Jutsu. Naruto then studied his next Katon Jutsu, Katon Karyudan. Naruto had a hard time learning the third jutsu. Meanwhile, Gaara was having a conversation with the Shikaku. "Kid, remember what the QB brat said?" asked the Shikaku. "I remember. He said that I need a new type of defense that is strong enough for Sasuke's strategy of piercing my defense," said Gaara. "Good, today, I'll teach you the Saikyu Zai Bagyu, Shikaku no Tate, Ultimate Absolute Defense, Shield of Shikaku," said the Shikaku. "So what will I have to do for the technique?" asked Gaara. "Let's go outside and I'll show you," said the Shikaku. Gaara obeyed and went outside. Shizen, on the other hand, was tutoring Haku on advanced medical jutsus. Haku enjoyed her lessons and tried them after their first session. That afternoon, Tsunade arrived with a bottle of sake at her hands. She had planned drinking that night, and the 3 kids just ignored that. They knew Tsunade was a drunkard. So the 3 just decided to take a rest and be prepared with training the next day. The next day, Naruto and his friends had received mail from their old sensei, Komio. There Naruto and his friends began to read out what the letter had. Naruto felt shivers running down his back as he read the gothic dream that Komio said. Komio had admitted his dreams to them, and the 3 were shocked as they read the letter. Komio had been having that weird dream a week before the 3 arrived, and it still continued until they left. The 3 had kept the letter a secret after they had read the letter. It was then that they continued their training and decided to not worry about the letter for now. They had to worry about the test. During the following 2 weeks, Naruto was able to learn the last of the Katon jutsus that the third had given him. Gaara was now able to use his ultimate absolute defense, and Haku now had a vast knowledge about medic nin techniques. The next 2 weeks, Naruto had tried to practice his swordplay and Shunshin combined. It became effective for him as he was able to execute multiple blows in a flash. Gaara developed new sand attacks and honed his alertness skills. Haku then focused on multiple strategies to fight her opponent, Dosu. After all of their training, the day had finally reached. The day of the third test. Naruto looked forward in settling his score with Hyuga Niji. He clenched his fists early that morning and went of wearing his standard uniform along with his friends. Tsunade went of ahead and Shizen will be watching at the audience stands. They learned that Tsunade and Jiraiya will be at the VIP seats near the Hokage. Naruto then went back to his room as he forgot something. Naruto then appeared with the head protectors that the old man had given them. Naruto placed his hide at his neck just like the fourth did. Gaara placed his on his right shoulder and Haku at her forehead. "Now we really are ninjas," said Gaara. Naruto then felt the strange feeling again. "Haku, Gaara, I felt that strange feeling again. Something big is gonna happen today and I know it. I think it's not the exam anymore that makes me feel weird, it's that something I feel is gonna happen big," said Naruto. "Let's focus on our objective first. We figured this out later," said Haku as the three had gone off towards the venue of the third exam where everything will happen. Naruto and his team had started to head towards the arena of the third test of the Chunin exam. During their trip, Naruto then felt an uneasy feeling again. "What is it?" asked Gaara as he looked at Naruto. "It's that weird feeling again. I sense something is going on that is hidden under our noses, but I just can't figure it out," said Naruto as he clutched his forehead and leaned at a wall. "You guys go ahead, I think I'll take the long way there. The exam doesn't start in 30 minutes, right? I'll take a small walk here and there. I'll be there, 5 minutes before the start. You guys go ahead without me," said Naruto as he started to walk towards another direction. The two looked at their friend and at each other. Then the two nodded and headed towards the arena. With Naruto. Naruto walked aimlessly and didn't notice that he is now at Team 7 training grounds. He rested near one of the 3 logs until someone came into view. The sun was blocking the view, making Naruto cover his eyes and squint. "Hinata-chan? What are you doing here? Do you have someone that will meet you here?" asked Naruto. Hinata blushed and said, "Hi. My teammate Kiba-kun would be here for us to watch Shino-kun's match." Naruto smiled at her and said, "Really? That's nice. How's Kiba-san? I take it that he had a good mental recovery within the month?" He recovered about a month ago," said Hinata, bowing down to Naruto and said, "Jigomen." "For what? I don't remember. You do something to me that made me angry," said Naruto, now standing up and looked at Hinata with a smile. Hinata still looked down, tears forming her eyes. But I became a burden to you. I heard from my father and my teammates that I was sent to the hospital by you. You must disgust me by now," said Hinata, clutching her hands. "Don't say that, Hinata-chan, you're too hard on yourself," said Naruto, and Hinata interrupted him. "No. If only I was stronger you didn't have to do that to me," said Hinata. "Then are you saying that I hate you? Hinata-chan, you faced an opponent that only has better skill than you did. But you are not weak. The one who is weak is the one that can't stand on their own every day. The ones who can't accept to what had happened to their lives that was so horrible that they could never let go. Hinata-chan, I think no, I say you are strong. I do not hate you for something that you had gone through. I won't hate you for that reason. You faced someone better than you and it was just coincidence that you faced Niji," said Naruto as he looked at Hinata and smiled. Hinata meanwhile remembered what her father said. "It was just coincidence that you fought him. I don't hate you, I'm your father, Hinata. How could I hate my own blood? The only ones I hate are the Hyuga elders, those that decide and do things that are coincidentally to the ideals of survival and war. The ways of old still live within them, that is why people suffer." Hinata then wiped her tears from her eyes and smiled. "See? It's better when you smile. It shows a sunny and approachable personality to us. Also, you look better when you smile," said Naruto, giving Hinata his own smile. "And Naruto-kun," said Hinata as she looked down the ground again and started to play with her fingers. "Actually, about the main matches I wish," said Hinata, and Naruto continued. "You wish me good luck?" "Thanks," said Naruto as he headed up towards the arena. But after a couple of steps, Naruto looked back at Hinata, grinned and said, "Come see my match with Niji. I'm gonna show that bastard what it feels like to lose." Naruto then started to walk away towards the arena. 10 minutes before the main event. Naruto had arrived to the main field and saw his teammates, Gaara's siblings, Niji, Shino, Shikamaru, and Dosu. "Where is Uchiha-san? I thought that he would be here by now," said Naruto. I honestly don't know, but I bet Kakashi-san is with him. They are probably heading back by now, said Haku as the Sand siblings saw their forehead protectors. They are now Konoha Nin's Temari. Should we continue with the operation? Asked Kankuro. I don't know, I guess we'll just not participate in the mission for now. We'll just keep a low profile and hope that either they or the other Konoha shinobis doesn't see us. We cannot also be detected by Baki-sensei that we do not participate in this mission, said Temari, whispering it to Kankuro. Alright, if that is the case, then we'll just not participate in this war, and if they ask us, we say that we didn't know there was any order, said Kankuro. Temari just nodded and the Jounin instructor appeared in a puff of smoke saying, I'm Shiranu Genma, and I am the examiner for the final test. Before we begin, examine the matches that you're in just in case that you forgot. Genma then grabbed a piece of paper and showed it to the Chunin hopefuls. Naruto then saw the old man Hokage, and sitting beside him are Jiraiya and Tsunade. Then he saw a man in the same robes as the old man, but his face was covered with a white cloth, and instead of a red outfit, his outfit is blue. Gaara frowned as he saw the familiar figure going near the Hokage. The Kazekage, I hate him, said Gaara as he controlled his anger and kept his head down. The Hokage then approached the railings and said, Everyone, thank you for coming for the third test of the Chunin selection exam. Today we will witness the matches of the 10 Chunin hopefuls this year. Please enjoy these matches. Genma then nodded and said to the 9 people currently present, Listen up, although the landscape is different, the rules apply as in the preliminaries. There are no rules. The match only ends when someone dies or gives up. But if I say that the match is over, I will stop the match. Don't argue with me over it. The Chunin hopefuls then looked at Genma with a serious look, and Genma said again, The first match is Uzumaki Naruto and Hyuga Niji. The rest of you need to go back to the waiting room. The Chunin hopefuls then complied, and they soon entered the waiting room except for Naruto and Niji. Naruto and Niji faced at each other, and Niji activated his Byakugan. I don't see any fear or hesitation at all, Humph. It's all too perfect. How I would love to see, said Niji as he then prepared for the Juken stance, and then continued, Your discouraged eyes. Hell, like hell would I listen to you. Shut up, so we can start already, said Naruto as he stretched his left hand in a closed fist. His right closed fist is placed near his abdomen and slid his left leg for a fighting stance. Think Foamway stance in Tekken 5. First match, Hajime, said Genma as a rustling wind came by, and then a few moments of silence. Naruto waited for his enemy to make the first move. Doing a powerful move all of a sudden would mean a disastrous mistake for him. Niji studied his opponent carefully. He is in the team that came from the Forest of Death unscratched. He also fought that Inuzuka ninja without even making a single step forward and only jumped. I have to assume the worst case scenario. Niji was then the first to charge at Naruto with a palm strike at Naruto's chest. Before Niji made contact, Naruto's hand was holding Niji's wrist. Niji then tried to pull his hand away only to find it hard as Naruto's grip was strong. This guy has an enormous strength, said Niji as he tried to close Naruto's tenketsu. Naruto reacted by swinging Niji away. Niji then backflipped to safety and then said, Give it up, fate has already decided this battle. A loser will be always a loser. Your fate has already been decided since the beginning of this battle. If so, what does fate tell you? Fate is only the end result of actions. Try asking fate again who is destined to win this battle, said Naruto as he turned into an emotionless being. Fate tells me that I will win. Fate sides with the Hyuga and you cannot possibly win against me, said Niji. Naruto closed his eyes and then said to Niji, I remember what my sensei told me when we were still at the monastery. What we think is what we do is what our characters turn out to. That is the true destiny of man. People who believe in fate and destiny are people who do not think highly of themselves. They are only like that because they say fate has been kind to them. People have a free will. Fate intervenes after what has been done. Having free will is the greatest thing one has. There are many paths to take and many things to cross. But it is the will of that person. They decide rather than being a drifting cloud in the sky where only the wind takes them. Not deciding and simply living is like not being alive at all, said Naruto, as it was his turn to charge at Niji. Naruto moved from his position fast and Naruto appeared by Niji's side. Niji rolled to the side as Naruto started to chase after him. Naruto punched Niji only to hit the ground. The ground shook because of the impact and Naruto could see Niji evade. Naruto grinned at that. It was his chance to do something. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, said Naruto, as 5 clones appeared beside him. The clones grinned. It was time they go to the offensive. The clones dashed at Niji, and Niji activated his Byakugan. Kage Bunshin? I see these clones have an equal distributed chakra. Even my Byakugan can't tell which is the real one, thought Niji as he then said to Naruto, However, there is only one that is real. I will soon find out who. Naruto then said, "Don't act like you're cool now, bastard. Did you know one thing about Kage Bunshins?" Niji raised an eyebrow and Naruto answered, "Kage Bunshins are able to do any technique I command as long as it requires techniques that are in the limit of their chakra capacity. But then again, since I have a very large chakra capacity, the Bunshins can do techniques like this, Katan, carry a Dan." A long fireball came from the clones' mouths and headed towards Niji. Since Niji was surrounded by the attacks, Niji started to spin around. "Hakushikaten. Divination Whirl," said Niji. The flaming dragon missiles had hit Niji's defense, and were deflected by the spinning chakra around Niji's body. Naruto looked at Niji and said, "I never thought that you had an absolute defense. But I could pierce your defense easily." Naruto then gathered chakra at his hand and made multiple rotations. Niji saw what was happening and raised an eyebrow. "An enormous amount of chakra is being gathered and rotated at the palm of his hand. What's going on?" asked Niji as he saw Naruto retaining the powerful mass of chakra in a spherical shape. Then the 5 clones began their assault to Niji by surrounding him. Niji started his Katen again as the clones attacked. Before the clones made contact to Niji's defense, Naruto dispelled the Kage Bunshin and charged behind the smoke. "Rasengan!" said Naruto as the spherical-shaped weapon was slammed into Niji's Katen. After the smoke cleared, people could see 2 figures in a deadlock. Naruto had his Rasengan piercing Niji's Katen. A grinding noise can be heard as the Rasengan began to spin faster than ever. Soon, the absolute defense that Niji had was disappearing as the multiple rotations from Naruto's attack began to disrupt the flow of chakra of Niji's spin. After that, Niji was seen blown back by the force of Naruto's Rasengan. Niji stood up annoyed. "Why do you defy fate so much?" asked Niji, gritting his teeth. "It's because you have no right to call Hinata a dropout," said Naruto as dashed forward and disappeared in a blur, appearing beside Niji again. Naruto gave Niji a powerful arm smack and Niji evaded to the side and performed a new stance. Audience rails. "That stance, it's impossible. I never knew he was this talented," said Hayashi as he clenched his knee watching the fight. Arena. "You are in my field of Hakujukenpo, Hakurokujuyen Sho. Gentle fist style, 64 strikes of divinity," said Niji as he dashed forward to Naruto, drawing out 2 fingers from his hands and striking Naruto at his tenketsu points. Naruto prepared himself and used a set of hand seals. "Whatever you do will be pointless now," said Niji as he was about to close into Naruto. Haku and Gaara noticed something around Naruto blurred. Both squinted at what they saw. They knew what Naruto activated the Shunshin no Jutsu. Niji then made contact. But Niji couldn't continue as Naruto held Niji's fingers with the middle of his fingers. Niji gritted his teeth and prepared for the 4 strikes. Naruto then blocked Niji's attack again with the middle of his fingers. Niji grew frustrated and continued his attack to Naruto, who continuously blocked Niji's strike. "That's 64 Niji, you can't possibly attack now. By the way, why? Why do you have eyes that tell everything?" asked Naruto, and Niji jumped back and said, "Do you really want to know?" Naruto only looked at Niji with an unemotional face. Niji looked at Hayashi in contempt and looked at Naruto. He started to tell the story of the Hyuga twins and about the secret of the Hyuga clan. Naruto looked at Niji after the story and sighed. "Do you think death is only the way out of that seal that was placed on your head?" "Such a coward," said Naruto, as Niji then grew angrier and said to Naruto, "To have a seal that you could never take off, to have something happen that is completely out of your control, a guy like you would never understand. Are you telling me that I don't know what it feels like carrying a burden like yours? Grow up. Many people out there are like you and they suffered much worse a scenario that you could ever dream of," said Naruto as he screamed at Niji and looked at Haku and Gaara. "Those people, they never experienced happiness because of something that had been placed to them since the day they started to breathe," said Naruto, as Haku and Gaara bowed. "Death is just another part of life, learn to accept it. Those who die in a battle, died carefree. Even if they died without realizing their dreams, they realized one thing, the most important to them at their very last moment. Their sacrifices weren't meant for nothing, knowing the future and safety of their village. Those who died for the sake of peace died with lightness within their hearts, even if their dreams did not come true. Your father was the same as those people," said Naruto, not knowing that he also hit someone whom was sitting near the Hokage. Naruto closed his eyes and said to Niji, "People's lives vary, may it be a happy and blissful one or a sad and tragic one. It's just life, it's beyond normal reasoning for us, but make the most out of life while you still can." Naruto then looked at Niji and said, "What one can decide and do makes the most difference out of everyone around him, it's reality." Naruto still had his Shunshin no Jutsu activated and appeared under Niji. Niji looked surprised as the speed he had produced far more surpasses Lee's. Naruto then kicked Niji skyward and Niji flew up. While he was in the air, two Narutos appeared at his front and at his back. The Naruto at his back then said, Lee-san and Uchiha-san are not the only ones who can do Kagebyo. I could also do it as long as I have the speed and precision. Are you ready? Niji looked at the Narutos at his front and at his back in shock. Naruto smirked and said, Kagemai Rendan. Shadow Dance Combo. The two Narutos attacked at the same time by having the clone at Niji's back punch Niji. Niji tried to block the attack as the Naruto from his front gave him a kick. Niji blocked the blows he was receiving and Niji noticed something is wrong. My body is hurting. His blows aren't in vain as it clearly destroys my defense, leaving me vulnerable for any of his attacks, thought Niji, as he was about to receive a powerful punch from the clone at his front. Niji closed his eyes. He couldn't block his blows anymore as Naruto had clearly destroyed his defense. The punch had made contact and the Naruto at Niji's back landed. The Naruto that landed jumped back up and the Naruto at the top gave Niji a heel strike. Niji fell down and the Naruto that jumped up gave a powerful mid-air spinning kick that sent him crashing to a wall. Niji fell down, not moving at the ground. Ginma walked over to Niji and checked his pulse. He then raised his hand and said, Shosha, winner, Uzumaki Naruto. If you want to know what is fate, look at the palm of your hand and seek it, said Naruto. Naruto then walked away from the battle, as the screams of countless girls were heard from the stadium. Wow! So cool! He's so cute! Naruto-kun! Naruto scratched the back of his head and laughed nervously. He soon went inside and headed towards the waiting room. At the waiting room, Naruto entered the room as the crowd began to anticipate the next fight. Genma looked at the crowd and at the Chunin hopefuls. It was time for the next fight. Next fight, Kinuta Dosu vs. Haku, said Genma as the two competitors jumped down the rail. Sate, second match, begin, said Genma as he jumped from the two. Haku performed a series of hand seals and said, Hijitsu, Sensatsu Suisho. Flying water needles. Dosu then grabbed his arm and sent multiple sound waves, turning the water needles into tiny raindrops. You are at a disadvantage. Water conducts sound and sound can intensify in water, said Dosu. I know that, but to counter the vibrations that you had sent to the water, I must conduct my own sound waves to nullify your attack or a stronger vibration to completely overcome your attack, said Haku. She realized my attack pattern and its weakness. This isn't good, said Dosu, as he was the one who charged this time. Dosu grabbed his weapon and started to dash forward at Haku. It's useless, said Haku as she created water to make multiple artificial geysers to stop Dosu's attack. Dosu was about to charge at Haku when he saw a sudden explosion of water upward in front of him. The water was about the same height as that of an ordinary man. Dosu was forced back and immediately changed his attacking position. He then started to encircle his opponent and waited for his time to strike. Haku remained perfectly calm and Dosu charged right behind her. Multiple water explosions appeared from the ground as Dosu charged. He jumped to the left and another water explosion appeared. Dosu jumped to the right and a third water explosion appeared. Dosu went through the attack by using his weapon. Dosu then rolled to the ground and jumped to the side as a water explosion appeared from his position. It seems as though that you can't land any hits on me now. To counteract your way of fighting, I used my own vibrations to stop your frequencies. I'm the one with the advantage now, said Haku as she performed a new set of hand seals and said, Suetun, Swishoha. Great water wave. The water that Haku created started to go in a large mass and began to attack Dosu. Dosu was in shock as he tried his best to send a powerful frequency to the wave, but to no avail as the wave swallowed him whole. As the wave cleared, Dosu was seen lying on the ground face first. Dosu started to stand up and started to breathe heavily. I never thought that these people were tough. It's so hard just facing her. She knows the weakness of my attacks and I can't get close to her for a chance to amplify my frequencies, thought Dosu. Haku then grabbed 3 Saban needles and Dosu watched. Haku dashed at Dosu in blur and appeared at Dosu's side. Haku then fired her Saban needles at Dosu. Dosu flinched as he was pierced to the leg. He fell down and said, She paralyzed my leg. Are you a medic Nin by any chance? Yes, I was taught how to be like one. Since you are now paralyzed, I suggest you give up, said Haku, but Dosu flinchingly stood up. There is no chance in hell I would give up. I'm still looking forward to battle Uchiha Sasuke, said Dosu holding his leg. Haku's side here was another idiot that faced her. You leave me with no choice, said Haku as she disappeared from Dosu's view again, only to see Haku firing a new set of Saban needles. This time, Dosu was hit to the neck. Dosu fell down the ground not breathing. Genma approached the battlefield and said, Shosha, Haku. Genma then looked at the Oto Nin and knew that the Oto Nin is temporarily dead. Haku walked off the stage jumping to the waiting room herself as the medic crew started to pick up Dosu. After that fight, everyone was excited about the next match. It involved the last of the Uchiha, and the people roared for his appearance. The Hokage was about to disqualify the fight until the Kazekage intervened saying, postpone the fight for a while. Hokage Dano, most of the feudal lords are waiting for a chance to see the fight with the last Uchiha. The Hokage closed his eyes and his two subordinates looked at him. Tsunade was the first to answer, Sarutobi-sensei, you should continue with the fight. I made a lot of bets with the feudal lords about that fight also. The fact is everyone is dying to see the last Uchiha fight, so don't. The third then decided, alright, we'll postpone the fight. In the meantime, we shall continue with the next one. Raiden nodded and disappeared in a puff of smoke and reappearing behind Genma, and whispered something to him. Genma nodded and told the audience, there seems to be a problem concerning Uchiha Sasuke, so we postpone the fight and set for the next fight, which is Aburame Shino vs Kankuro. Kankuro gritted his teeth. He knew that he won't participate in the upcoming operation, but at the same time, he couldn't risk being detected by Baki or the Kazekage. So he stopped and told Genma, Instructor, I quit the match. Genma looked at Kankuro and said, Kankuro quits the match. Winner by default, Aburame Shino. Then the crowd grew angrier and Temari decided to do something. She grabbed her fan and started to head towards the arena. When she was there, she looked at Shikamaru and said, You're the one I'm going to fight, right? Well then, get down here. Shikamaru was about to give up until Naruto said, Nara-san, I'm doing this for your own good. Naruto then pushed Shikamaru of the railings, making him fall down. The one in the crowd said, what the hell? Then the crowd started to throw stuff at Shikamaru. Shikamaru sighed and said, Naruto Yuru, damn Naruto. Genma then said, third match, Hajime. Temari was the first to react by jumping towards Shikamaru with her giant fan striking him vertically. Shikamaru sighed again and grabbed two kunais. Temari had struck of what she thought was Shikamaru, but she only struck the ground. Temari looked up and saw Shikamaru stuck at the wall. Normally I would give up in this fight, but a man can't lose to a woman, said Shikamaru. Shut up. Ninpo, Kamaitachi, said Temari as the terrible wind tried to strike Shikamaru. As she swung her fan, Temari saw that Shikamaru was already gone. He's good at running away, said Temari. Shikamaru was seen hiding behind a tree and looked at the clouds. He felt lazy again and said to himself, Kumo wa tu, the clouds are nice, actually. I have no motivation to start with, I just wanted to do this ninja stuff, normally this is too troublesome. Shikamaru then looked at Temari, who was wielding her fan at her front, and started to do another wind-based attack. Shikamaru then braced himself as the wind attack had hit him. Temari then stopped her attack as Shikamaru activated his Kage main no jutsu. Temari was shocked as she saw Shikamaru's shadow. Temari retreated in a series of backflips and she calculated 15.53 meters, so this is the limit of his shadow, thought Temari, as she proceeded to mark where Shikamaru's shadow extended to a limit. She then started her attack for another Kamaitachi. Shikamaru then put his hands together in a strange position and closed his eyes. Arena sidelines. What is that? That's the first time I saw that kind of hand seal, said Kurenai, and Asuma answered him. No, it's usually a habit of his. He may not be the strongest out of the rookie 9, but he makes up for his strategies. I found out about his talent when we were playing shogi. Every time that we play together, I always end up losing. He's like an old man who loves to play those kind of games. Then I made Shikamaru take a test that was disguised as a game, said Asuma, and Kurenai asked, well, how did he do? Asuma smirked at Kurenai's question and said, he's a genius. He has an IQ over 200. Kurenai looked shocked and asked, 200? Yeah, it's an unbelievable asset, especially considering his type of personality. He's about as lazy as a rock, said Asuma. Arena. Shikamaru opened his eyes. He was now ready. He ran as fast as he can and checked one of the holes that Haku had made. He checked the hole by dropping a smoke bomb and watched carefully. He squinted and realized something. Temari wondered what Shikamaru had done but continued with her attack by dashing forward, trying to strike Shikamaru with her giant fan. Shikamaru noticed this and threw 4 shuriken at Temari's place. Temari stopped her attack and saw Shikamaru jump back from where he came from. Shikamaru performed another Kage main no jutsu. Temari smirked, as she knew the shadow's limit. But as the shadow gets closer and closer, Temari realized something. The shadow extended and went past the line. Temari jumped back to see that the shadow passed and began to trap Temari. Temari jumped back and retreat to see the shadow's limitation again. She looked up at the sun. It was in a different angle from before.